Hello, everyone, and you are tuned into the greatest. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. I go by the name of the New Legal, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to come out here tonight on Di-RRec Gaming. And I got a special guest, not really a special guest, but a comrade in these streets. Somebody that I have a whole lot of respect for. A whole lot of respect for. I had a double take on that. When I met the guy, it was because of the things that he was saying that compelled me to relate to his language. And I said to myself that this guy needs this airtime. He brings that energy. He's exactly the type of Xbox comrade that we need in these streets. And I reached out to him, and man, he's always said the same thing. Legal, whenever you're ready, man, I'm ready. And that's the kind of people that you like to hear in these streets, man. So without further ado, with no more mystery on the introduction, because you can obviously see his name, but I had to do him right because I respect the guy. Six Slay in the building. What's good, fam?
Yeah, what's up, homie? Long time coming, man. Good to be here.
Long time coming, man. And just because you're here, man, I'm hyped. I'm hyped
Yes.
because you here, bro.
Oh,
And,
thank you. You're humble.
Shout out to my man Mike
humble.
0508 coming from the OK territory right above me, man. Shout outs to you, fam.
What's up,
Appreciate
Mikey?
you stopping by. Appreciate everybody that's coming in here to listen tonight. You know, you know what's sick? I got a microphone, but look, I got these boxing gloves over here, man. Put your boxing gloves on. We're ex-boxers, bro. Put those boxing gloves on, man.
Need some gloves on my hands, some pads on my feet, man.
Facts. Make sure you put some tape on those knuckles, fam. We're gonna get this tape going, man, because we ex-boxers. Gotta change this game up, man. We in 2021, man. I ain't speaking that hieroglyphic language no more, man. I set trends. I don't borrow nobody's stuff, man. Let's go.
We in the future, baby. Let's do it.
Exactly, man. You got those gloves on, fam? You got that tape?
Oh yeah, we ready to go. We ready to go.
Xbox community, stand up. Yo, I got Craig Simmons Gaming TV up in here. You put in that work tonight. Yo, you know it, man. You know it. We're gonna do it, man. We appreciate you two coming in right now. Shout out to the Xbox chat live room, man, up in here, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody. We're gonna get to it right now. Sick. I'm gonna bounce off of you, man. So I'm passing this golden mic to you real quick. Drop them with the headliner, man. Let's get to it, brother.
So, first and foremost, though, you can check me out on Twitter and anywhere great games are played with the same name. So first, I want to say to folks, yo, you want to play games, you know how to find me. This is what this is all about. It's supposed to be about fun and entertainment. So we're going to talk about these subjects. But please don't get in your feelings, okay? I speak facts. I speak facts. I have opinions are based or derived from facts, or at least what you perceive to be the facts. But I'm real anal retentive when it comes to details, so I try to get my facts straight. So when I say something, please don't come and question me like, what are you talking? Like, no, bro. If I say something, it comes verified, researched, understood. I've spent my life doing this type of thing. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back because if I really wanted to, my arm would break. Okay, I'm just facts, and it took a long time of being wrong for me to be this right. A long time of being wrong. Lessons learned. Okay, when weight dragons, one of my closest homies can tell you, because there used to be a little bit of rep. Oh, I'd mess up your computer, but actually that was just situations when you were young and dumb, and you were not paying attention, and it's not even anything you did, but like something related will happen, and you'll get the blame for it. I had a lot of bad times where I had to learn lessons. So, okay, facts are incoming, and it took a lot of strife to earn the knowledge. Okay, so yo, legal, what subject you want to hit first?
We're gonna hit all the dummy subjects first, bro. I know you got one dummy subject in your bag. I know you do, man, because I
A
got
dummy
plenty.
subject. A dummy
Got a
subject.
dummy subject, bro.
Oh man, the dummy subject of the week already must have been this Atmos thing. Oh
Talk
my god.
to
Okay, yo, Dolby Atmos, Windows Sonic, DTS X headphone. Okay, previously Dolby headphone. Okay, Sony has their own. I'm sure Tempest includes this technology as well. It's called head related transfer function. Long story short, you have two ears that you can hear in 5.1, 7.1, 5.1.6 if you have those above your head speakers. You hear 360 around you with two ears. Okay? Modern science has figured out how that works. So they can take a surround sound signal and boil the frequencies down to left and right, and your brain will figure out the rest. Some are better than others, and some are better than others in certain situations. Okay? So now, Microsoft had planned for surround sound or this head related transfer function to be on the Xbox One at the same time they released their headphones and that chat adapter. If you remember that little thing you plugged into the bottom of your controller with the buttons for the volume and mute and all of that, it was supposed to have that technology then. And it was heavily rumored to be with Dolby. And you got to remember, if folks had their Astro headphones and all these things, this was a problem. Because what was going on? My old headsets don't work, blah, blah, blah. The magic of it was supposed to be you plug in your headphones to your controller, you get your surround sound. Now in 2021, our headphones are wireless. They talk to the console all by themselves. You're getting that same surround sound loveliness. And on the Xbox One, this has been years now. Dolby Atmos, because Dolby isn't free to anybody. It's a license you pay. You pay for a TV and it supports Dolby. A license went to Dolby. Okay? Dolby Digital 5.1 is the sound format here in America for over-the-air TV. Dolby gets paid for that. So when they added this function to the Xbox, it cost money, and you have to pay that license. The money goes to Dolby, not Microsoft. And nobody had a problem with this for years. Until last week, these headphones came out. In fact, I'm speaking to you on them right now. And all of a sudden, you know who? The same old clowns with the next dummy complaint. You wanted to talk about, a dummy subject? Here's a dummy subject. You're complaining about paying for a license for something. Sony uses Tempest. It's their own thing. Okay? Right. They have a lot to show and prove with that, so I'm not even going to say anything about it. Because like I said, I'm only going to speak facts. If those facts burn your ears, that's your problem, not mine. There's a lot of things that could be said about, so be it. There's a lot of things that could be said about Tempest, okay? About the fact that you don't need those headphones they sell you to use it. So you'd be like, well, I can just plug my headphones into my PlayStation controller and I'm using Tempest. I don't even need to buy those headphones. But meanwhile, on Xbox, you have to pay $15 for Dolby Atmos. Huh? Right? We win? No, dummies. I said 3 formats on the Xbox. The first one I said was Windows Sonic. That's the default Microsoft head-related transfer function.
Facts.
Okay, for those in the back of the class who weren't listening when I said it the first 2 times. Okay? You don't have to pay anything. And sometimes, like I said before, Windows Sonic is better than either Dolby or DTS. In certain situations, it could be from movie to movie.
Situations, I agree.
It could be from movie to movie.
Started.
It could be from movie to movie, or the same movie on different platforms. You're watching, let's say Batman on cable TV, and it's streaming through your Xbox, or you're watching on Netflix the same film. Different head-related transfer functions will sound different even through those, even if it's the same movie, because each one, you know, their bit rate of audio is different. So you got to switch between. That's called having options. Okay, folks? Now, when you want to talk about stupid things, that's something that's stupid. You complain that there's an option. This option has been around for years. It just goes to show what these folks are all about. These people sat there and complained. They're just looking for something to nitpick, to complain. These children, you see guys like Griffin Gaming out on YouTube, who's got a whole YouTube career. He bought a whole high-end PC with a 3090 that burnt out for whatever reason. He sent back and they gave him a new one in the middle of this whole pandemic when I can't even get a 3080. Lots of people can't. Okay? Can't get any video card. This guy got one. He has a YouTube career where he clowns PlayStation dudes like that, left and right. Guaranteed there's probably going to be a video out of him from the next guy who's going to complain about this Atmos situation. Like it hasn't already been dealt with by the entire gaming community, because that's how absurd it was. So I don't even think there's any more left to say on that subject, because it was just a dummy topic.
I got a
that
dummy.
options are a problem.
Wow. I got another dummy one. You did good. That was an excellent dummy one. Here's another dummy one. This one's actual real dummy. All right. This is a real dummy situation. There's a question floating around out here in these gaming streets, and it sounds like this. Can I carry over my save from PlayStation 4, Xbox One? Players who have a PlayStation 4 version of Mortal Shell will not be able to carry their progress over when they upgrade to the PlayStation 5 edition and will need to start the campaign again. Xbox One users will be able to carry their progress to the Xbox Series X or S. You know what the dummy situation here is? Is how in the heck does it matter what console you upgrade to when what you play should be recorded and should carry over with you? You know, this is what I was talking about when I said the reason why I'm an Xbox fan, the main reason is because Microsoft invests in my gaming. It makes sense to be an Xbox fan. So it means like no matter what console I played on previously, if it has been cloud recorded, then whatever console that I have today that game might possess itself within it, why do I need to start over for? That makes absolutely no sense in 2021, people. We're talking gaming. And on top of that, there's a situation out here, Sick, a more dummy situation. What is this I'm hearing about? Things are going to be wiped out of the PlayStation 3. What is this, man? What is this that's floating around with this being obliterated, fam? Obliterated. But then see, the hypocrisy is at an all-time high right now. And we're going to get to that too real soon, folks. Stay tuned. But what's up with that, Sid? What's up with this memory being wiped away?
Well, you know, at the end of every generation of a platform, the previous one, or in this case, the one before, you know, finally gets sunset. But in 2021, that makes no sense. Your history is your future. If you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it. Okay? Xbox has been doing great things with backwards compatibility. That's a base level thing that they leverage in many ways with FPS boost and auto HDR, making those older titles attractive on modern hardware. Okay? And Game Pass, you know, where the Xbox platform has been consistent now for 2 generations, and you can be guaranteed when this generation is over, everything you have now will work on the next generation of Xbox. And it wasn't this way on PlayStation for God knows what reason. And it's ironic because it started with the PS3 was the one that had the ultimate backwards compatibility for everything. If you bought a launch PlayStation 3. PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 ran perfectly on a one machine. But speaking of that machine, so now word comes, PlayStation Network is going to be shut down this year for PSP, PS3, and then I think a month later for the PS Vita. And
Why is that?
that's a common thing on PlayStation. If you've noticed, every game on Xbox Live, right, is still playable on Xbox Live unless there was conditions where there was servers required and stuff. Like for example, the game Chrome Hounds, because it had the season and all that stuff. So that was the game from like 2006. They shut down the servers, I think, like 10 years ago or whatever, right? But other than that, almost every game on Xbox Live still runs. They don't believe in generations. Never truly did in that aspect. Unlike Sony, who claims they believe in generations but don't stay consistent with it, but then resell you old games on your new system when it should have just been backwards compatible. But that's just me. That's just common sense. And I think that relates to back what you were saying originally. All of this is common sense. Like, why, if you have cloud saving, number one, it's behind a paywall. Number two, the cloud saves don't work because you're trying to sell the next gen version of the same game that should have been free anyway.
Facts.
So let me drop to you a technical reason that might be. If you've noticed on Xbox, and this is the example I always give with Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 was a launch game last generation on PS4 and Xbox. I got it on Xbox and PC. And I had the disc. This is when back then you got certain games online, certain games on disc. This is when most of us were transitioning to going all online, right? So I bought Battlefield on disc. Sometime later, it's on sale digitally. I'm like, ooh, I still rock this game. Let me get that, knowing I'm not going to need the disc anymore to launch the game. But you know what I also didn't have to do? I didn't have to re-download the entire game.
Facts.
It just downloaded the little flag or whatever to my system to let the system know, hey, he's got this game digitally now. It's in my account. So anytime he wants to launch it online or off, I'm good to launch the game. Okay. Now there's certain other games that doesn't work with because they're dependent with online. And some of that you gotta blame publishers for that. Like Ubisoft is particularly notorious for that. More so on PC, but also encroaching onto console, like these concepts. So we'll talk about another subject about anti-cheat from a company that's despised in the PC realm. But we'll talk about that later. But anyway, back to the point I'm making. Like, backwards compatibility is so key. But so I bought Battlefield online. I don't need the disc anymore. It downloads the little flag. Backwards compatibility being what it is, I still have that on my Series X, right? I transferred it over. I can play it if I want. It works just as it did. I can play online. But in the background, Microsoft sees it as one game. The digital version, the disc version, even if it was on cloud, okay, would have been the same version. So of course all the saves work. It's common sense, right? Not to Sony, apparently. Every version of a game on Sony's side seems to be a different SKU. So the disc version, the digital version, they're seen as separate. Okay? So if I did that same thing I did with Battlefield on a PlayStation, it would have to re-download the game. My saves may or may not be compatible. Usually I think they were in a situation like that. Because I think I had to do that with Ace Combat. I'm a big fan of that game. And they had the VR support on PlayStation, and I was sucking into buying it. But it also got me a previous game that I love in that series. So, okay, fine. I let that slide. But most of the time, you're going to have an issue with the transferring of the saves now because, number one, it's behind a paywall. So you have to pay for PSN Plus for your cloud saves to be there in the first place and for you to access them. See, on Xbox Live, even if they had charged for that, guaranteed, if you lapse on payment or whatever, or you just aren't on Xbox Live, which is going away or whatever, you would still have access to your cloud saves if you're paying up or not. You just wouldn't be able to play online. You still would have had access to your cloud saves. I guarantee you, because that's how Microsoft does. But you see what Sony does. It's all separate because they didn't consider any of this. So now they didn't even consider to put a transition system of their own to do the transition between, you know, the PS4 version of Game X to now the PS5 version of Game X. So developers had to do the work. Okay, some did it well, some didn't. Some depended on the PSN cloud, some didn't. And if you've seen on Twitter the steps you got to go through as a technical dude who understands these things, and I think I've proven that enough in the couple minutes we've been on already. That was confusing to me. I had to read the steps a couple of times, like, what? Really? Honestly. So I'm just like, it just goes to show there's no forethought in what Sony is doing. And because of that, it continues to affect us today. Because these decisions they made were years in the past. They still affect us today. And so too with Microsoft. You buy a game with them, it works. Your saves are in the cloud. You go to the next system. You bought the game online. Hey, it's in your profile. We know you got it. Hey, you lost your Xbox in the fire, whatever. It's okay. We got all your game saves in the cloud. You download your game on your new Xbox. You re-download your save.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. My man Sick is on fire. We're rewinding that right now. Tell them what happened if your house caught on fire. Say it loud for the people in the back.
If your house caught on fire and you lost your Xbox or whatever, you get that insurance money back. You buy a new Xbox. You just re-download your game. You re-download your save, your profile, your settings. Hell, everything on your Xbox dashboard, like your pins and stuff, are saved. All that settings is saved in the cloud. Your preferences is in the cloud. Okay, your control setups are in the cloud. Haven't you noticed if you were lucky enough to get one of the Xboxes this generation, that when you transferred over everything, it was the same thing? People complain about the menu being the same thing, but they've been iterating on this menu since they first released it in 2013, and they continue to iterate on it. And they had just updated it just before the series consoles were out. So it's familiar, but upgraded, but everything is there. That's why it's so familiar to you. That's why some people started complaining about, oh, why didn't they make a new dashboard? That's why I don't rail against that complaint too much, because it's like electricity. And in recent times, I know you're in Texas, so I don't know if this affected you with the snowstorms. You were out of power for a little while there yourself?
Yeah, I was, man.
Okay, so when was the last time that ever happened to you in life that you can remember?
Rare.
Right? So guaranteed you come to remember the convenience of electricity now that it was out of your life for that little bit. Now, didn't you?
Correct.
So now then, the Xbox is doing everything familiar, the way it should be, the common sense way.
The common sense way.
Even though the menu has been upgraded, people still call it the same menu, even though it's not. Number one, you could see that in the look and everything. Right. The art design, the like I think it's Fluid Design now or something else, or Fluent Design, or it's the successor to that now. Like it's a whole new art design. The functionality is there, familiar, and upgraded with added performance. If you have the series consoles, you see how lightning fast it is in all ways. You don't need to redo things to do them right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just improve it upon it.
Speak on it.
Ask Sony about that with their whole you can't use the rest mode. That's probably not just a software issue. It's got to be that, that overheating hardware of theirs. But hey, it's all related. When you look at how all these things connect, it's like when I was talking about backwards compatibility earlier. I'm talking about, everything on the cloud. They all relate. So the past things I've mentioned in the past 20 minutes, you're gonna realize I'm gonna start repeating a lot of these same concepts because they're all related. It's a whole business plan that one side is executing and the other side is not. And the other side could easily start to emulate all these things because one side is paying the other for their online, so they both have the same online. Like, I don't know what Sony is doing, because step one for them should to be the copy Game Pass. And low-key, they kind of are with the PlayStation Collection, right? And stuff like that. But they need to do it wholesale. Just copy it straight up. Just stop. You have a 4 console generations and 2 handheld generations of back catalog.
We
But
know what
they
the
just
problem
didn't
is
do
with
nothing.
that, Slick. We know what the real problem with that is. You want me to elaborate to him? Here's the problem.
Please do.
Sony is a hardware company. Microsoft is a software company.
Mm-hmm.
It benefited Sony anytime you can touch it, anytime you can insert it. It benefits Microsoft when you just pay for it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the differences. So
Yeah.
Sony wants you to keep buying hardware. They want you to keep buying physical copies, something that you can touch. But what's happening is the physical touch is declining. And what I mean by that is not necessarily with the buy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But with the look at my boy. That's it. That's it. Appreciate that confirmation, Reaper. I appreciate it. Yo, shouts to Vodka, Reaper, Rogue Enigma 17 in the building. Thank y'all for showing up tonight.
Mr. Kima.
Mr. Kima in the building. That's right. I saw him. That's right. Mr. Kima in the building. Thank you all. And to the viewers out there that are watching sick right now, I don't have a fire extinguisher for my man, so he's on fire right now. He done turned into the Human Torch right now. He ain't going to stop. I'm letting this guy shine, man, because this guy needed to be airtime. He needed to be that airtime. You getting it tonight, fam.
Oh, stop. You're making me blush. But
I'm for real, fam. You speaking that language, fam.
When you pass me the ball, when you pass me the ball, I'm about to dunk it. So you might have thought I forgot about his original question.
I thought you was a white boy that couldn't dunk the ball. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he ain't Luka. I'm
a 6'4" Haitian dude. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, I'm just saying. I said Luka. I said I was playing you like a white boy that couldn't dunk, and I was saying he ain't Luka. So, you're right. I was undercutting you, but I threw the alley up. I threw the alley oop anyway, and you dunked it.
Oh, I haven't yet, but here it comes. Because you said it. Because you said it yourself. Sony is a hardware company. So getting back around to your original question about the battery thing. See, on the 360,
exactly.
Even on the 360.
Go ahead. Carry on.
You can still play online. That you can still play online, right? Yeah. If, heaven forbid, Microsoft chooses to shut down Xbox Network for the 360, which they don't seem like they will. Why should they? Because they're leveraging those games still on the current system, so they're not gonna. But let's say they did.
Millions of people that still play on the 360.
Right, but let's say they did for whatever reason, right? Just for instance, the 360 would still be able to play everything you downloaded, right? On the PlayStation, there's a battery. The battery is keeping a clock running. And these hackers have noticed when this battery dies, it loses important information on the PlayStation. And when the PlayStation loses this information, you can't play your games, even though you have them downloaded on the PlayStation. Let's say the same PlayStation you bought them on in the first place, that still runs and everything's good hardware-wise, but except for its battery. And now PlayStation Network is about to die. It's ironic that it's revealed now that those games aren't going to work because Sony's a hardware company. They want you to rebuy the game. So even in their hardware, you see it represented. It's been built to die in a sense. Once the data in that is gone, that's it.
That's it, bro.
That's it. Doesn't matter if you legally did it. The servers are gone. And it's not like the files aren't on your PlayStation. It just doesn't have the authorization to run as far as it's concerned. That's not going to happen on the 360. It doesn't happen on the 360. It doesn't have a battery like that on the board. It just goes to show, like, a lot of these things make no sense until you start to wonder about, about the motivations. Microsoft's motivation is to grow their ecosystem.
Right.
Sony's motivation is to keep business as usual as it has been for 30 years or 26 or so years for them. Okay? With the beginning of PlayStation. You're just
now getting a new controller design. Just now.
Yep. That's all new. You can say the last one was mostly new, but it wasn't. All they really did was the same design, and they stretched out the difference between the two analogs that kind of um halfway addresses the fact that they still need to offset the left analog and the D-pad. I mean, it makes it feel better for those of us who like the way Nintendo and Microsoft both realize it should be, and Amazon and Google and countless others, by the way. Okay, I've all realized this is a superior way to do it. But at least when they increased the distance, it made that better. But it was still just PlayStation 3 controller with a slightly different shape. The PS5 controller is finally the first new one. And what they do, they copy what Xbox and Nintendo and now Amazon and Google are doing. And even Apple, like the one controller that they give the thumbs up to as their official controller. It's not made by them. I think it's made by SteelSeries. It too just looks like an Xbox 360 controller with with the offset analog. Now, if you like the two analogs, that's what you're used to. That's probably the only reason you like it, because that's what you grew up on. That's what you're used to. A gamer like myself and New Legal, we've been around this block before either one existed.
Right.
We don't have a preference for one in terms of just personal opinion. It comes from experience.
Right.
So
we're locked, baby. Living off experience. LOX.
Yeah, so Sony finally has a new controller, but it's got issues. I mean, drifting is the one thing that seems to be industry wide, because I think everybody's getting that one part all from the same manufacturer or whatever. So the drift issues are industry wide. I see a lot of people like the fanboy war over that, but that's just that's just something bad that everybody has to deal with in the industry right now. They really need to work that out. But other than that controller has a lot of issues. Wasn't there reports about like 400 and something hours? And I'm sure it's not exactly that or what, and it's taken out of context. But we've seen enough evidence from users who are saying they're having issues with the controller. More issues than when the original Elite controller had issues. And clearly that controller had issues. I didn't have those issues. I was lucky. But they exist. I don't know about yourself, Legal, but I never had any issues with the first Elite controller. I had the second one. I gave away the first one.
I did with the first one. The bumpers. The bumpers gave me, as a matter of fact, the one that I just got my warranty replaced from GameStop, the same issue. But my Elite 2.0, not one issue at all. Everything that I complained about with the first one, that I said needed to be done, they did it. As a matter of fact, me and David Prin talked about it. The guy that actually makes the controls, I got the interview with him. We talked about that specific issue that I had with the first one, and they even realized it. It was awesome, dude. It was an awesome interview. It was the most down to earth interview that I mean, it was awesome, man. The guy's fantastic, but they know, they listen. I just want to say that they know, they listen, and they're very observant, because though his team was part of that epic Galactic 360 era, man. So they know about longevity. They know what we like. They know what we need. They know how to get that controller back to gaming the way it's supposed to be on Xbox.
Yeah, so a lot of people had a problem with the Elite One controller. So it's not a thing like,
yeah, that wasn't a joke. Yeah, but you see how Microsoft cleared that up, and you see how they cleaned it up real quick with the next one.
Yeah, it just goes to show, the point I'm making is, like, let's be honest. Just like the Elite One controller, the PS5 controller has issues. Right. Why are people beating around the bush? Xbox and Xbox gamers had to admit it. PlayStation owners, why don't you admit it?
Because man, they're hypocrites, bro. Because they talk too much. Look at them on social media. We're gonna have some fun tonight. But they talk too much, Six Slayer. That's their problem. Their mouth gets them in trouble. So the reason why they're quiet on PlayStation right now is because because once they start talking, it admits that, what we said. And listen, man, you can take it how you want it. I don't care how you feel, but it's garbage, bro. The controller is garbage, and that console is garbage. I don't care if he's a fanboy, he's gonna say that. No, PlayStation hasn't always made garbage consoles, but PlayStation 5 is one of them. And the PlayStation 5 isn't the only garbage console they've made. Okay? It's not. That's just facts. It's got a twin sister called the PlayStation 3. Garbage. And it takes it, but the thing about it, man, is their pride, right? Look at everything that has transpired, right? They talked about size. Look at their console. The biggest console ever in Guinness Book World Record of popularity is the PlayStation 5. Huge.
Yeah, the only other one that even competes is the LaserActive, and that was a laser disc player. If you don't know what the laser disc player is, okay,
that was supposed to be big.
For size of a record.
Right.
CD the size of a record, bro.
You remember the laser disc? They don't know that, bro.
That's how big. That's how big. Imagine the Xbox One. Okay, a lot of people used to call that the VCR. Okay, imagine your parents' VCR. Okay, we grew up using VCRs. Maybe y'all are a bit younger. I can understand that. Okay, look it up on Google. Laserdisc player. Imagine, because I said a record, you probably, well, actually, I don't know. Records are back in style, I guess, with DJs and everything. I don't even know. But it's like okay, imagine a CD the size of a medium pizza. Okay? That's a laser disc, and it has to fit in a player that's still larger than that still. The PlayStation 5 is bigger than the LaserActive, which was a console that used laser discs. Bigger than that. And when a lot of people say, including myself, say it looks like a space heater, it really does. It literally looks like a space heater.
Sick. There's a reason why they really don't want to show how big this thing is. They don't put it next to modems. But I'm telling people right now, I've seen that PlayStation 5 and I'm like, what the hell is that, man? It's enormous, man. I don't even understand the purpose of it being a console being that big. Like, it's huge, dude. It's huge.
And it's white. Most people are complaining about this. And Sony, you have the opportunity right there. Okay, to have your own panels and stuff, custom panels, deal with, Razer in them, or D-Brand for skins and stuff. I think D-Brand is just doing their own, But Sony at first
it goes with nothing in your house. It absolutely goes with nothing in your house. Nothing in your house is white and blue and black. Nothing.
It's really ugly to me. It's ugly. It's frankly ugly, right? I've seen some people who are not into game. Oh, like a friend of mine, his wife, their son had gotten a PS5, and his wife likes the look of the system. And her husband doesn't, right? But the son is like, I think it's kind of ugly, but he's a PlayStation guy, so he's gonna stick with it. That's fine. But his wife likes the look of the system. So there's opinions out there, from different people. But to me, even when you put on its side, okay, with the stand, it looks weird. And Vodka said it looks like a floor model console. I don't know what kind of floor model console that is. I mean, you put that out there, it's not going to make people want to buy it. It's going to make people want to look at it and be like, what is this? This is so weird looking. But then when you say that's a video game console, a lot of people are, what? Because it just looks so weird. Now, the Xbox is just a big black rectangle. Looks like a mini fridge. Yeah, it does.
No, let me be more detailed to you. The Xbox looks like an Xbox. Go ahead.
It's a black box. Right.
A black box. A black cube. Looks like an Xbox. Makes sense.
It looks like the next cube, like two of them stacked on top of each other. And that's another lesson for you to Google. But yeah. And at first, when I first saw, I'm like, it's just a black box. Who cares? It just has to go in the corner and you're good, right?
Facts.
And that's why I don't care about the way it looks. It's simple. It's just a black box. If the PlayStation was okay, if the looks were swapped, I still feel the same way. I'd be like, the PlayStation may look like a black cube, but it doesn't look like this weird. I don't know what the heck it is. And just to show you that I'm not
looks like
being
a cheap router.
It looks like a cable modem router combo that you get from your cable your cable provider.
Steroids.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. As much as you might think, oh, I hate Sony and all these things, I've had every PlayStation. I plan to get this eventually, and the reason I don't have one now because I was on the Sony website. Actually, no, it wasn't the Sony. It was Best Buy. It was all loaded up. I was at the last click. I just had to do checkout. I sat there for like 20 seconds. I'm like, I don't really want it the way it is because I had certain reasons I don't want one right now. And within that moment when I decided, and I said, the hell with this. I'm getting it now. I clicked, it was already gone, right? And that was the best thing that could have possibly happened to me because these systems are overheating. And then word comes out when you get the SSD, and you put a SSD in the compartment, it's gonna run the system hotter because they have to. It's too big and a weird shape. The people who bash OG Xbox sides are hopping on the pony. Yeah, okay, I can see that, but still, it just goes to show the inconsistency and the bias that people have. So yeah, but so what was I saying about the? I lost my train of thought. That's just when I saw that it just popped up on the screen. But yeah, the look. I don't get it at all. It makes all right. So I don't get the look at all. But the heating issue. So when you put it in the SSD, and they're saying the fan speeds are good, like this system is holding on to dear life, and overheating has to be an issue because from day one, we've seen the videos, the images, the reports from Twitter. The fact that they suggest to you don't even rest mode all points to the same thing. In my personal opinion, the systems are overheating because the glitches that you see on screen are consistent with a GPU overheating. As a PC dude, the first time I used a computer, I was 3 years old. A month before that, my brother had told me I can't use the computer unless I know how to read. A month later, I knew how to read just to use his computer, just to play games, okay? So this is how far back I go. So the experience I have is the GPU is acting like that. It's because it's overheating. That's exactly what I see happening on the PlayStation 5. And that's why I'm happy. I paused for that 1 second and I didn't get the PS5. And I'm happy that happened because it needs a redesign. I'm not going to get one until they do the redesign or the die shrink or whatever they do, the cost reduced version, because the version they have now is running way too hot. Way too hot.
I'm not buying no PlayStation. I have no reason to. I absolutely have
very
no
little
reason
reason
to invest in a company.
Yeah.
Invest in a gaming company that absolutely does not invest in me makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm a realist, bro. That makes no sense. And I don't have an emotional bond tie to no console. I go where it makes sense.
Right.
Where it makes sense. And Sony's PlayStation brand has never made sense to me. Since day one, the controller, square controller, never made sense to me. The button schemes, shapes, never made sense to me. Having a pink button never made sense to me. There's just things that just, when they don't make sense to me, they just don't make sense to me. And I still haven't got anybody to rectify what makes PlayStation so great. Don't even come talking to me about Gotti games and walking simulators. I don't want to hear that.
Most of the people that I noticed who's acting this way are about the same age range, and it seems to me that they all grew up on PlayStation. Like that was their first. That's all they know.
We know that, man. We know that.
That's the first one that ever gave them some, and that's all they know.
Facts.
I don't even for it all day.
Yeah. Okay, put it like this. Here comes another hypocrisy moment, another dummy moment. This is the dummy show tonight, y'all. We're doing the dummy show tonight. This was dedicated to all the hypocrisy in the world right now in the gaming streets. So good subject right there, Sick, before I get on to something else. Why is it that when an Xbox fan says, hey, man, listen, I prefer my Xbox, it's a cardinal sin. Oh, Iggy's get crucified, and look at him. He's a fanboy. But yet, PlayStation fans, that's all they ever known are PlayStation consoles. That's all they ever think about. They don't know anything else. They think exclusives are the reasons why gamers go and buy consoles. Like they're locked into that theory. That's their theory. And that because that theory belongs on their platform, it's supposed to generate everywhere else. But let me tell you something. There's a difference between Nintendo fans and PlayStation fans. All right. Nintendo fans stretch all the way back to the mid 80s to even the early 80s. All right. They stretch back. A lot of them came out of the arcades. And on behalf of the arcades, right? I want to elaborate to that dummy comment that they always say. Let me show y'all how true gamers think, okay? True gamers, when they walked into an arcade, the last thing they thought about was all those arcades in the game. And how am I going to be able to play all those games in the arcade? That's the last thing that hit your mind. The first thing that hit your mind was, I'm going to go play the game I like with how many quarters I have, and let's see how I can stretch the moment that I have on that arcade. You went into an arcade, you picked by experience, like Sick would say, you picked your games that you like by hanging in there, learning those games. You put your quarters in there, and you had a good 10 minutes if you was good. If you lasted 30 minutes, you was great. And if you lasted an hour, you was famous. You was street famous. Everybody knew you. If you could sit on an arcade game all day long, you was famous, right? You leave your initials there, and you walked away. And having your initials in the top 10 worldwide, that meant no matter where that console went, right? Unless it got cleared, you know, every machine can get cleared, but unless it got cleared, your initials stayed up there and it carried with you. And you know, the funny part about it was gamers learned by their initials. That's how we learned.
That was the early gamer tag.
Right. And that's how you built your reputation. You built it on that. And you know what? Nobody cared about, oh, look at this arcade game right here. Look at this arcade game right here. Oh, let's all just play this one because this one's a Konami one. Or you know what I'm saying? Oh, look at Super Mario Bros. We're all going to just play right here. That's not how it exists in the arcade. In the arcade, you get in where you fit in. All right? So a lot of us came from that because that's the founding thought process of gaming. If it wasn't for that thought process, you today would not be here. Because do you realize that due to Atari, the console market fell? And it was a Nintendo that was daring to go Western that made it with Mario Brothers. If it wasn't for Nintendo to be daring, we probably wouldn't even have consoles today.
Nope.
Because Nintendo inspired Sega to go westward.
Yep.
There was a Sega of Japan and Sega of America because of Nintendo. You know what I'm saying?
They even brought Sony into the mix.
That's what brought.
It's all Nintendo's fault.
That's the whole point. There you go. You cut me off, and that's good because that's where I was getting to. The reason why you have Sony today is because it's influenced by Nintendo and Sega. All right, yeah, Philips was in the game because Philips was always in there because of Microsoft was always in there. Microsoft was always in there.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft had computer console things in Japan. They were helping them out. That's how you got Metal Gear. Your little dude, Kojima, y'all know who he is. You can clap for Microsoft. It's the reason why he's motivated. There wouldn't be no Metal Gear if it wasn't for Microsoft. Wouldn't be no Metal Gear. Know your history. Understand things. You got people on Twitter talking stupid, talking about Microsoft has never had a partnership deal until Bethesda. They don't make great partners and things in the gaming industry. Mm-hmm. What? Like y'all are the ones that come up on social media and do it to yourselves. I guess that dude never watched the round table. He didn't watch that. Because if he watched that, he would have known that the people of Bethesda and the ZeniMax family, they always dealt with people on the Microsoft side of things. when Microsoft was gaming on PC with their PC games, they always interacted with each other and they would give each other advice. Then we're talking about a 30-year relationship. Sick? 30
Let me ask
years.
you something about that. If Microsoft wasn't in the game space at all, and we heard the news that the ZeniMax family dealt with Microsoft like the way we learned at the round table, nobody would bat an eye, right? Because Microsoft is what? Software company, right?
Right.
So why is it same said software company that's in the gaming industry and has been for nearly 20 years now in the console side and was in gaming before that on computers and such is being questioned now? Like, is it really surprising to you? Is it really surprising to anyone that game developers go to Microsoft if they have issues with developing games? They're a software house. That's what they do. That's how they make their bone. That's why Bill Gates was the richest man in the world for longer than anybody at any one time. All the advancements that they make, all the technologies that they make, a lot of them they give away. Okay? Microsoft created. Unlike Apple, who likes to take a technology that was already out there, put their own twist on it, and then act like they're the innovators, and people who don't know nothing from nothing just love them blindly. Like, people look at this like it's a surprise to them or an issue. Like, who else but Microsoft? Not Sony, not Amazon, not Google. And maybe if you need some servers, you go to Amazon or Google. Ask Activision about that, because all the Call of Duty servers are running on Google servers. That's who they get their services from. It's from Google, not Amazon, not Microsoft. Google. Okay? Makes sense, right? Because Google, that's what they do. Makes sense. You may not imagine that Google is really in the gaming industry like this now, pre-Stadia announcement. Okay, you can see it now. But back then, if we had heard this news, would that be surprising to you? No. But you're not going to say, that Sony would do it. I'm not hating on Apple blindly. I have the newest iPad, I have an iPhone and an Android. Okay, so don't worry about that, Rain. I'm just saying, it is what Apple is. It is fact. They take technology that's already out there and they put their own thing on it, and then they don't. Look at Lightning when they should have been using USB-C ages ago now. Just saying. But yeah, it just goes to show, like, things that should be obvious to anybody. It's right in your face, but you don't see it because you have a bias or whatever. That Microsoft is helping out lots of game developers. But then come to find out, a lot of these issues that Bethesda was having, if Microsoft couldn't help them with it, who would have? What game was it in particular he mentioned? I think it was Oblivion? Or was it Morrowind? Because Morrowind is the predecessor to Oblivion, which is the predecessor to Skyrim. That was on the original Xbox. Like, every Xbox has had a major title from Bethesda in that series on Xbox. So to tie into the whole thing where people are saying, we're wondering if Bethesda would be exclusive to Microsoft. Particularly, and some people are saying it might be this game or that game. Okay, well, here's one game that was always going to be Xbox.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said something about Microsoft.
That was always related.
I'm glad you said something about Microsoft helping, because Square Enix with Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider wouldn't even be here for Microsoft in 2011, dumping that cash in because they was like, listen, we believe in Lara Croft and we don't want her to go anywhere. So we're going to dump this money. You make the game, dump this money, and we'll do a trilogy. We'll work on bringing out a trilogy. And look what ended up happening.
It's beautiful.
That's why you saw that partnership happen with Rise of the Tomb Raider. That's why that game came out timed.
Apple has got everyone doing the ecosystem thing. Well, yes and no, but it goes back way further than that. But that's probably back in the 70s and early 80s with Apple. That was always their thing. But that's always been the way of these early computer companies, Microsoft included in those early days. To see it now today in the way it is now, it's obvious now, but to imagine back then when it was a new concept, that was the innovation.
Look,
back then. So don't think I'm blaming
always been a bundle.
Yeah.
Play cable was out in the 80s, man. You would
Yep.
go to these what you call them, suites, motels, hotels, and
Mm.
play cable was already integrated in the cable systems. You could play like 25 video games right
Yes.
in there. It was
Yep.
always here, people. Let's don't get it confused.
Yep.
Bundling was always here, but here's the thing: it wasn't popular,
Nope.
but it was light years of the game. People, this is what I'm trying to get people to understand. You only are going to see things where you see things today is because the rest of the group followed. When it's just one thing out there that's doing it, they will overshadow it. Let's take, for instance, cloud computing. Microsoft wanted to cloud compute, really cloud compute, not do a cloud service streaming network. We're not
Mhm.
talking about PlayStation, talking about real cloud computing, where the cloud actually integrates itself within gaming, right? But because Nintendo wasn't pushing it, Sony wasn't pushing it, the gaming media looked at that as a joke. They're Sony and Nintendo biased anyway, right? So they didn't
Mm.
want to showcase, they didn't want to talk about it because it's on a platform that is not their favorite, it's their least favorite. But look what Microsoft had to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sandra Bond told us in
You put,
2019
you
that
put up the comment.
the industry is slowing us down to the point where we're looking at ourselves like, yo, we're on a schedule, okay? We're mighty Microsoft, and we got a schedule to make. To make, we can't sit around and wait on these companies to change their minds.
Yep.
So we're gonna knock on the door again, and we're gonna put out our blueprint and say, look, this is where it's going, okay? We're going to ask y'all politely to come on board. If you don't, okay, we still like you. We will still help you out. We love y'all as customers.
We'll
But
do
we're
business
about
with
to
you.
do but we're
You need
about
some
to do
service support? We got you.
we got you. But we got to do what we got to do. And watch this, y'all. Even if that means building our own industry. I want everybody to hear that. I know
Yep.
I didn't want to lose anybody.
Yep.
Even if we have to build our own industry, I didn't say platform, I said industry. If you was listening to her, if you was listening to her like I was listening to her in 2019, Microsoft with Xbox is building its own industry to where they ain't gotta ask nobody, is it okay? Is it, or y'all want to do this and do that? Because they're tired of hearing the no's. No, no, no. We heard it already. Crossplay. No, 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 no. Extra gaming services. No, 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 no. But as soon as it started showing growth on Xbox, oh, okay, all right, I'm cool, I'm cool, I'm cool. You're slowing things down. Now y'all are mad at Microsoft because Microsoft isn't trying to what? Caboose anybody anymore. They're
Nope.
like, listen, man, we're not asking y'all anymore. We're gonna do us. And you had your chance. But we see that you guys really don't want to be a part of this. Why do you think Phil Spencer said that? Listen, I'm not knocking Sony or Nintendo. This isn't a knock against them. But what did he say? But I feel like the way they do things is outdated. That's
Yep.
pretty much what he said.
Yep.
Outdated.
Spoken like a true gamer. Spoken like a true gamer. Because everybody, particularly Nintendo and to a lesser extent Sony, we all say that about Nintendo all the time. If you excuse Sony or whatever, fine, but Nintendo all the time. Real gamers know.
Right.
And Phil said it like a true gamer. But bro, we were
They
talking about
want to complain about Nintendo prices. Well, be strong in your country and you will understand why Nintendo prices are always up over here. They're strong in their country. Do you know they got to ship those games over here? Those games are free. That yen gets flipped to US currency. The yen is of lesser value. Nintendo is doing what it's got to do. It's successful. I'm not knocking Nintendo.
Yeah.
But you Sony, there's a problem with you. You wanted to go to war with Nintendo in the beginning, and Nintendo beat you at everything. They beat you in handheld. They beat you in console. They beat you in gaming space. Damn, in your own country. To the point, Nintendo is king over there. There isn't no PlayStation. PlayStation 4 sold 10 million consoles in a 127 million crowded of human beings on an island. And you can only get 10 million of those consoles sold in your own country. In your own country. That's
it's
they
ridiculous.
Now look. Do you think the gaming media was going to tell them that? No, of course not. That's why all this news that is hitting them sick, they don't know what to do with it. They are confused. They're like, wait a minute, we sold 113 million plus consoles in the world.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that Sony is still hurting? Yes, people, because the PlayStation 3 was no joke. It hurt them in their wallet. Look, this is what they don't get. The PlayStation 3 didn't do anything for Sony but give them a headache, right? So they built the PlayStation 4 off of basic L's. The L's. There was nothing to do. They built that going in negative. So 113, how many, I'll put it like this. How many PlayStation 3 consoles were sold? Over like 88 million, maybe 89
about
million?
88. Yeah, about 80 right. Something, high 80.
So 88 million. Let's just do, we're not going to do dollar signs. We're just going to do the number. So let's just look at it like this. PlayStation broke even at 88 million. So what does that mean? Let's look at it like this. So that means maybe 30 consoles went into their pockets. 30 million went into their pockets. Look at it like that. So how did they really make money? They really didn't. They try to sell you. Why do you think the little dildo things for the VR,
the Move controllers,
was PlayStation 3 technology? The headset was was a little video views that failed, that was up in their Japanese warehouses. They had to get rid of that. That's what that helmet was. It was already there. So here they are once again getting played, right? Looking stupid, right? Jocking old technology. Look, running their mouth, and they didn't even realize what they were buying, sick. This is what I'm talking about. This is how they getting themselves in trouble. They was out there jocking technology that was outdated. Like
that's why the first part of their new VR headset they show is the controllers, because they are so far behind.
Don't get ahead of me.
They had to do it.
Sick, don't get ahead of me. But you're exactly right. Watch this, sick. Then they didn't even know about that, right? Camera 720p. Camera weak as heck. It can't even do. It was worthless on Twitch. And Twitch had sorry frame rates, and it couldn't even hold up on Twitch. These are facts. We're not making this up. These are facts. So what was the best thing for the industry to do for Sony? I just want to always say this, though. The industry is always trying to baby Sony. Like they changing the diaper. That's what goes back to what Six said. Why come nobody's calling this stuff out? Why come nobody is really? Because if they do that, Sick, we win. It's like forfeiting. See, they say we're not in a console war. They love to say that. Or they like to say, look at these fanboys. But they're the fanboys. They're the fanboy. Look
at John Linneman.
Look,
there's that quote of him when he went absolutely
nuts. Don't jump ahead. We're saving him.
Okay,
we're getting to him. This is the Hypocrisy show. It would be right not to have him in here, because what happened to him today was the funniest stuff ever. Right? What happened to Howard the Duck today was hilarious. So we're gonna get to Howard the Duck. But notice, all that old technology, and they're talking about they got something. So there goes another generation, right? where they was using old technology. I just want everybody to think about this. Then check this out. Microsoft comes along once they got themselves together, okay? Because I always gonna admit this. I don't care about admitting this. It's true. The Xbox One was a disaster, dude. And I'm still waiting for the Snap feature to return. We can have Snap feature for the achievements, people. It's fun. We don't have to have voice commands for that. But bring the daggone Snap feature back. Get it off that burnt in screen crap. Well, I'm trying to play the game, but I got achievements all in my way. That's garbage. We're Microsoft. We're software kings. Bring the Snap feature back. We can do it. I want to see my achievement bar move on its own. Show me something that's mind-blowing. We're not PlayStation. We're not Nintendo. We're trailblazers. Bring the feature back. We got a powerful console that can do it in its sleep. All right, we're running this thing in Azure Blaze. Can do it in its sleep, man. Let's get back to greatness. All right, that's my only request. I just want to look like I'm in 2021, Microsoft. All right, you got these people, man. You know they're not gonna admit to this stuff. All right, they're not gonna admit to this stuff because it's a forfeit if they do. So it's like Sick said, they stay quiet. They stay quiet, but Sick, nobody wants to admit that it was the legal that said it from Jump Street before this generation even got started, that they're all gonna fail you this gen. They can't save you this gen. Because what happened was Microsoft made too good of a console. And look, on top of that, they made two great consoles. How in the world are you going to defeat a console in 2021 that gives you 1440p at 120 frames per second? That's what PC players play on. That's their max. Ain't one of us talking about I'm 4K on a 27 inch. He lies to you right then and there. He already catches an L. Because the PC community, they love playing at 1080p 60. They're just now upgraded. They got no choice to because they got egos to uphold.
And it's kind of tough right now, though. Let me tell you. It's kind of tough right now to get hard.
It's tough for everybody. It's tough but the problem, here's what changed gaming. It wasn't the PC market this time. We're going to talk about that. It was the console space. When Microsoft went in to co-engineer this chip, it didn't just benefit console gamers. Think about that. It benefited PC gamers. Benefited them. You think these guys are going out here, man, and buying these 15, 16, 1800 graphic cards? Come on, bro. They don't buy. All right? They sit up here and they want to talk about. I saw my man AfterBoss today. He had this YouTuber up, and he was dissing the PlayStation. He had good points, but he wasn't really entertaining me because what he's saying is like old news about them. Like, who cares? But he was bigging up the PC. Like, him having a PC was like the best thing since the Lord's Supper, right? And I was sitting here like, dude, don't sit up here and think that, first of all, there's a theory that if you got a PC and you play video games, you're a smart person. That's a theory. That's not a fact, people. That's a theory. We just want to make that clear, okay? Now, based on that theory, right, he's sitting around talking about, I can play all my Xbox games on my PC. That's why I said, just because you got a PC, it doesn't make you smart. He lied right there. You cannot play all the Xbox games on a PC by default.
You never could.
There's something that you're going to have to subscribe to. You won't play these games, you got to subscribe to something. You're not just getting these Xbox games. Oh, you want to talk about old Xbox games? Well, that's nothing new with you with you PC guys. Y'all always playing old games. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna expose what you guys like. Since you guys always talking about we playing these games, but I beg to differ. I digress right now. Because we're gonna expose you like I've been exposing you before. With that 2016 graphic cards of a high percentage that y'all had. When that got exposed, y'all started going to those markets and started upgrading your graphic cards, but you wasn't upgrading those monitors, were you? Those monitors is what's important, because it doesn't matter what graphic card, what CPU chip you put in your PC. If your monitor's trash, doesn't matter, because it's what is shown from the screen is what proves the pudding in your bank. If I had a black and white tube TV, sick, you don't care if I have the Xbox Series X. If that's what I gotta try to show you my gaming experience off of, don't care about that.
I'm gonna shed a tear a little bit, but yeah.
Facts. Facts. We're arcade kids. We've always been about the big screen. The big screen always had frame rates. But this PC community has clouded with all their nonsense. They cloud these blind sheep. And we've went too long, people, to keep these dumb narratives. That's why every day I'm laughing at most of you donkeys out here. I just laugh. Because at this point in 2021, the kind of stuff that you come up with to validate why you got that garbage console is hilarious. You're playing Astrobot. You're playing Demon Souls. That's it. You trying to make fun of Game Pass? But at the same time, we had a dummy today. We're going back to the dumminess. I got a dummy moment. We had a dummy, because you know I don't call out the names. I report from the streets, right? So this is on Twitter. Everybody saw this. We had the dummy to come out and question about Microsoft's Pocket and will Game Pass in 5 years.
Oh yeah.
We know who it is. Game Pass in 5 years will alter, these things. And let me show you what he said. Let me show you what he showed. First of all, it's hilarious what he showed. Okay, when he was talking about this, it was the top 10 biggest video game companies in the world. The top 10 biggest, right? One was Sony with a gaming revenue of $25 billion. The second is Tencent, which I want everybody to understand. That's the little secret weapon that I was talking about.
In China.
People are they don't even know where I'm going with that. That's gonna smack them in their face. Talking about, oh, that stuff already happened on PC. They don't get it. They don't get it. Microsoft and Tencent is colliding, people. The whole point of this Microsoft going on an app, like I was telling everybody on the last show, the reason why you never saw xCloud promote TV screens is because there's a big deal about to happen. Big deal. It's bigger than consoles. It's bigger than PC. It's bigger than your little tablets. I told you, this thing is for real. It's taking over everything. Xbox is taking over everything. So Tencent is number 2. That's China. Third, Nintendo. That's not a mystery. Fourth, the youngest on the block, Microsoft. Microsoft sits at 4. Oh, Tencent's about to do. Just watch. This year, by the end of this year, watch how Tencent gets down, right? The 5th one, Activision Blizzard. The 6th one, the most hated, Electronic Arts. 7, Epic Games. So I just want to put that out there. Electronic Arts ain't going nowhere. They're 6 all time. Epic Games, 7. Take-Two Interactive, 8. Sega, Sega, 9. And Bandai Namco at 2. All right, this is all in billions.
Hold on. On this list, and I know where this is going, but I just want to ask. Sega was ahead of Namco.
Yeah, Sega's ahead of Namco.
Okay.
By just 100,000. They're pretty much tied. They're hand in hand, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, when you think about this, right, there's only 4 companies that are in the double digits. Only 4. 4. Okay? That's Sony, Tencent, Nintendo, and Microsoft. The rest are all single digits. All right? Now watch this. Watch how I go with this now, right? What the dummy fails to tell you is that that's what Sony does in a year. They collect 25 billion in a year. All right? Remember, we know this because last year we got the report that Microsoft finally went over 10 billion. Remember that? They had 11 billion. They had their up. So all this is old news. That's how much the dummy. But see, the people who, it's like this, man. There's this old saying, right? Birds of a feather flock together. Donkeys are gonna graze in the same field together, bro. Wildebeest mentality. They're gonna travel the same Serengeti together, bro. They're gonna jump across that river and get ate up by alligators. All right, it's just the way it is. All right. So right now, the alligator is the truth. These donkeys are these PlayStation radical fans out here making their community always look dumb. All right. And the problem is this. The joke is on all y'all who made these dummies their empires because you went with them simply because, oh, they bash Xbox. I'm going to make this dude popular because he bashes Xbox. See, I'm going to ride with dummy over here that flip-flopped on them. Yeah, we'll take him because he bashes Xbox now. That's the reason y'all take the trash. It ain't got nothing to do with they know what they're talking about. You can care less if these dudes know what they're talking about. As long as they bash Xbox, you will support them. But like like legal said, they will fail you because being dumb, being a prostitute, there's no future in that, bro. There's no future in your fronting. All these lanes, bro, that them flip-flop, that them prostituted for YouTube, they ain't got no future, bro. That's why they're never happy. We do this, me and Sick, people like me and Sick, we do this from the heart. This is what we do. I'm known for gaming. These dudes ain't known for gaming. Bro, you put them up on some sticks and they're garbage. But on Twitter, on social media, oh, dude, they Godzilla's there. When it comes to that mouthpiece, they Godzilla's. I'll give it to them there. But when it comes to gaming, nobody knows who they are. They ain't known for that. You ain't kidding people like me and Sick. Because I can, bro, at any time, just hit me up. My gamer tag is on Twitter. Hit me up. We'll play the top 3 best sellers of Xbox. You want to battle me in Halo? Line up. Battle me on Gears? I pray for you. Forza, I'm pretty decent. So, I mean, we'll show who's who. But I'll tell you what, when it always gets to Gears, I'm not taking an L. I'm not even worrying about that one. I'm not taking an L there. And I can get a good team enough to carry me on Halo. Because like I said, gamers know gamers. Gamers know gamers. I remember being on Upload Studios 7 years ago. I still got some of them dudes that were making the top 10 list in there. All right? It's just a phone call, baby. We known for this. This ain't something we just doing. It's passionate. We don't prostitute for this. We were doing this stuff before YouTube. We had big mouths before YouTube. I can see it in Sick. Sick was back there back in the early 80s and late 90s still like this, bro. You don't just become like that. That's who he is. I'm who I am, bro. Anybody that knows me tells you I'm sporadic like this. I got a baritone in my voice. I'm always at 100. You don't see legal at 0. I'm always at 100. It's passion all day. I'm a passionate person. I'm just glad to be alive. I'm glad to be healthy. I don't got time to be complaining. I ain't got time to be faking anything. There's no future in that. I come from the mud. I'm proud where I'm at. I'm proud where I'm at. So when you look at these numbers, right? If Now I want to say this. If Sony has $25 billion, they sure ain't flexing it. Microsoft has 11.5 and they flex 7.5 out of that. 7.5 out of that. This nigga K Megan. That's it. Megan knows. I'm always one. That's it, fam. If I was in, if I look and see, because he said that, right? People like him would know if I switched any other gear, they're gonna, they're gonna question. Wait a minute.
Yep.
It ain't legal. That's not what's going on. He done went to another gear. That's not him. But everybody, dude, I know people that know me 20-something years, 25 years in this stuff. Dog, that's legal. They're gonna tell you that's, dude, he was like that, bro. That's how he is. I don't change up. And that's a struggle for me, bro. That was a struggle for me coming to YouTube. Really? Man, because YouTube will change you, bro. The fight of YouTube is keeping that bar level, keeping that self-respect, because you can lose it, bro. It's like when women take selfies, right? They'll get depressed if nobody puts likes on their selfies. They'll start thinking, damn, am I ugly? Nobody put likes on me. They start losing their minds. It's the same thing with dudes, bro. They make these YouTube videos, let nobody start watching them. They'll stop believing in everything that they're doing, bro. Not legal. Look at me. Go look at my videos. If I wasn't gonna believe in myself, I would have stopped a long time ago. Just go look at my videos. Go look at my performance level. You know, it's like, yo, what was he doing? Believing in myself, because you got to. Who else is gonna promote your stuff? Who else is gonna love your stuff better than you do? Who? You tell me. So that's how Microsoft was. They love their stuff, man. They're taking care of their stuff, and the industry never wanted that to happen. They didn't want Microsoft loving themselves, bro. The industry's always been bashing us down. They want us to feel like there's something wrong with us being Xbox fans. You know why we know this? Because they'll always throw up what place Xbox comes in or how many consoles sell. And like we say, the stuff that they talk about has nothing to do with gaming. Because you know why? They're not gamers. They're talkers. They tweet. They're social media whores. That's what they're good at. But when it comes to gaming, there's no product coming out of there. There's no substance coming out of them. So if Microsoft had $11.5 billion and they spent $7.5 billion out of that, what is that? What is that, Sick? That's like what, $4 billion?
Yep.
$5 to $4 billion left, right? Now what company would you know risk it all like that? If they wasn't confident, there you go. If they wasn't confident in what they do. So watch this. This dummy puts up old numbers. When we just heard, now watch this. I want everybody to understand this. When Microsoft was about to acquire ZeniMax, right? That talk began last September. So in 2020, sometime in the third weeks of September, we started hearing about Microsoft about to acquire ZeniMax, getting the whole Bethesda deals and all of that stuff.
So everybody went, huh?
That was February, January, December, November, October, September. This news is 6 months old, right?
Yep.
So watch this. If it takes Sony a year to make $25 billion, right? Watch this. I think you're gonna know where I'm going with this, Sick. There's $4 billion in the tank. We already did our mathematical equation on this. So let's look at it. Microsoft's got $4 billion in the tank, right?
Yep.
Watch this. They double what they bought. We got that report 2 months into this year. We found this out a little bit in February when they made back double. You remember how dumb the gaming industry looked? Remember? All these YouTubers had to come out and report about it. What?
Wait a second. Even
But
I was kind of taken back. I'm like, double back already? Not
right,
only that
but
they made
but
it,
but
it was double
but
already.
sick. Who was the one who said they were gonna do that? You
You did.
listened to him. Did anybody give me credit for that? No. Why? Because legal's on the low end. Who cares what legal says? That's why I like it down here. It's fun down here because you ain't getting it up there. It's too much at risk. Down here, we don't have nothing to be scared about. We do what we do. We say what we say. Don't ever change that if you start to go up. Stay the same way because the Xbox community deserves that.
So,
Deserves.
bro, all I can tell you is what I've been known to say lately, yo. I'm not trying to be Chris Rock. I'm trying to be Patrice O'Neal. Okay? He was so in his head about not being fake. He sabotaged his own career and his own rise countless times. And he knew it when he was doing it. And if you haven't seen the documentary that was released recently about it, it'll make that clear if you didn't already know this story. But I'm kind of in my own head the same way. There's certain things I don't do. I don't operate like that. And the people I run with don't either. K Mega in the chat is one of them. Okay? There's certain things we don't do. There's certain ways we don't operate. But we know this. And it's even worse for us because we notice the other side is doing that. And they act in a way. You know, when Phil Spencer was talking about how certain segments of the gaming community, and shout out to Sega Man, I was saying this on his show on Saturday, when certain elements of the gaming community, we all knew he was talking about. But the messed up thing about society is that, like, had he named that it was the PlayStation fanatics, not even the, because when you look at let's say it's the PlayStation 4 sold 120 million systems by now. It's that 10,000, maybe. That's a high bar number that you're hearing being all retarded and stuff and saying all these wild things. Most everybody else doesn't even care, but they're influenced by these loud voices who are saying ridiculous things. And we all knew that's who Phil Spencer was talking about. But if he was to say specifically that was them,
Facts.
that's bad form to say the truth, the fact. Because we all know it ain't no Nintendo fans. And it's not an actual segment of the PC fans. Because these loud PC fans you hear who keep claiming PC Master Race don't even realize the irony of it. It's like these dudes who you see wearing their pants sagging extra, extra, extra low. You know where that comes from, but there's still young cats out there who do it like clowns who don't even know what that's from. And it's the
Until
same thing
somebody
there.
rolled up on them and put those two-piece on them, and they had a disadvantage because they can't do anything because they pants too low now.
That's right.
They're not even prepared for the realness. That's what I'm talking about, Sick.
Exactly.
I'm glad you used those metaphors because that's exactly what's happening. The gaming industry isn't prepared for the realness. You saw it right here, the dummy moment, right? So look, Sick, if they doubled it, they didn't give us the exact number. We don't need to. We know how to add. 7.5 plus 7.5 is what? 15 billion. But wait, didn't legal say there was 4 billion in the bank? So that's 19 billion right there. Sick. We only are in the third month. Game Pass just grew another 5 million.
And that's probably old news.
Talking about? What is
that's
he talking
old
about?
News.
People. Game Pass had sold 15 million 3 months ago. We were talking about, well, it's probably going to be 20 million. 3 months ago, we were saying that.
Yep.
Then we heard Game Pass 18 million. Oh, look. And then not too long ago, just last week, it's 20 million. So if Game Pass just grew 5 more million, then we find out it gets even worse, right? They dissect it. Well, now Forza Horizon 4 has 24 million active players on it. 24 million. Sea of Thieves has, it grew 5 more million. It has 20 million. So between 2 games, just 2 games on Game Pass, 44 million players on just 2 games, sick. Sick. Watch this. This is why they get mad. This is why they get dummies like this guy. They need dummies like this guy to band-aid their hearts. Sick, are you listening to me?
Yes, I
They
am.
need these cartoon characters to speak for their pain, but they're gonna fail them because we don't know the cash flow of that. See, there's a cash flow in that. Nothing's free. Okay? Game Pass just grew 5 million. Forza Horizon 4 has 24 million active players on it, and Sea of Thieves have 20 million. There's money being involved there, right? We don't know that number, but what we do know, there's 19 billion that Microsoft has made in about 4 or 5 months, bro.
Yep.
And that's between the years. That's between September and to now. And we still got what? The rest of the year to go. And if you think for a second that Microsoft isn't going to make over 25 billion, you don't live under a rock. Matter of fact, you're not living. Only dead people think like that. All right? You gotta be dead to think like that. So that's why I laugh at people like that guy. That guy's stupid, man. He's played himself. He's there to band-aid the hearts of the donkey community. But people like me and you, bro, we don't do that here. I'm not band-aiding anything. I'm not trying to swaver emotions of men. It's not how I get down, bro. You can feel how you want to feel. That's the least of my least of my worries. Like Microsoft might get Discord for 10 billion after picking up ZeniMax for 7.5. Exactly. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Microsoft, bro. The bottom line with Microsoft is their pockets are too deep to be concerned. All right. I had somebody up top tell me about Microsoft pockets. They said Microsoft makes so much money, they have to give money away.
They really do.
It's almost like Walmart. We were talking about Walmart today. I was talking to somebody. I said, man, it's crazy how Walmart is above shrinkage problems. That means theft problems. I remember when Walmart was worrying about theft in like 1999, 1998, around there. And then they just gave up and just said, you know what? We're not worrying about it. You know what? We tax write off theft. We bring in too much to worry about what's going out our stores. If you want to steal something, you steal it from Walmart. Walmart don't care. They're above shrinkage. They're above shrinkage. That's how much money they make. So whatever they lose, they write it off. Microsoft actually makes too much money, so they have to give it away. They give stuff. Why you think all the time on YouTube, man? People just be getting stuff. But we don't see half of what they do. They give stuff all across the world, man. They just be giving it away.
Microsoft gives more away to Xbox fans than Sony and Nintendo combined that I've ever seen. And Nintendo is giving. They truly are, and they help to try to foster that appearance as family friendly. And that's the main reason they're doing it. But still, Microsoft does more than Nintendo and Sony combined, because I see it all the time from Microsoft.
You know how I can back you up? I'm about to back you up on that fact. You tell me another gaming platform that has a Microsoft rewards program set up like Microsoft does. Name me one. The end. We actually get rewarded for gaming. We actually get rewarded for using their platforms. We use Bing. You signed into Bing with your account, Microsoft account, you get reward points, which are transferred into currency dollars. You can buy digital stuff right off your Xbox just by being a part of the Xbox. Look, here's that word. Just by investing in the Xbox platform. So see, it makes sense to me. It makes sense. Now, Sick. Now, here comes your chance to shine again. We're going to talk a little bit about Howard the Duck and his hypocrisy today after he got caught If you're not aware of him getting caught, I am. Somebody passed me this link, and I cracked up today. It was actually Xbox One. Shout out to Xbox One out here. But he dropped something up in here that was funny to me. Because all of a sudden, we got John Linneman out here telling people that piracy now is important because PlayStation has failed him. But this was the same guy that was talking bad about Xbox backwards compatibility was bad because you had to download the games. Remember how stupid that was? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
But now this guy is self-righteous and for piracy because, like I said, they ain't gonna fail you this generation. Now, go back to what you were saying, Sick, about the situation about the memories and stuff being wiped away. He couldn't believe it. He's caught on Twitter just dumbfounded, looking like Howard the Duck in the headlights, just dumbfounded. And of course, you know, that's how he has to come out of the woods. He comes out of the woods, he comes out, and he's the number one dude, right? He's the number one dude for PlayStation. He's got to say something, right? So it wasn't a surprise that it was him, but it was like, look at what he was saying. You know, oh, what? Seriously? This is worse than expected. So the PlayStation 3 is a time bomb currently. Wait a minute, dude. You mean to tell me that no matter how high you get, you always gonna be a donkey in the PlayStation community? He's pretty in a big high at a high-end echelon. You know, he's up there. To be that dumb, to sound that stupid. This is what I was saying about him. This is what made him mad about me. I said, listen, dude, you out here worrying about what the streets say, but yet you in an office every day. You get to type on your little keyboard, burn your little buttons up, acting tough up here. And then the next day you talk about how depressed you are. You know why you're depressed? I told him, I said, the reason why you get depressed over gaming, because you're a prostitute. You're not happy, bro. You've made up a character about yourself, and now you got to live up to it. You can't be who you are. You done came up in here fronting on Xbox so much that now you trapped yourself to look dumb. So you're telling me
there's another situation that's from years past that's being straight around on Twitter about him all the time. It's shown all the time. So exactly proof of what you're talking about.
This dude is the originator. Remember, and this is what he hates. He hates about the streets, that the streets goes back and reminds him just how dumb he was. Right?
Exactly.
This is the same guy who said Microsoft shouldn't even be in the gaming space.
Yep.
I don't know why they're here.
That's exactly the one I'm talking about. Yep.
Right. Gamers would never say anything like that. Look, like I've always said, do I like Stadia? No. But would you ever hear me say Google has no business being in the gaming space? Why would I say something like that? Because just because I don't like them doesn't mean somebody else does. It doesn't mean that somebody else won't play that Stadia and have fun with it. Every entity deserves to be a part of the gaming industry. You know why? Because gaming is so big. It's here for anybody. If you can make it, Stadia didn't make it. Oh, well, we sent our condolences off, and that's it. We tried to tell you that the Azure cloud ain't nothing to mess with. You try to floss up. You make deals, knocked us down. But I'm starting to think that if any company has common sense, you would always bet on the Xbox community if you want to thrive. If you want to thrive, get on the Xbox community's train. You'll thrive because we'll take care of you. We're the ones that actually spend the most money. We're the ones that get the day ones. These are facts, bro. Ubisoft even said it. Xbox fans buy our games more than anybody does.
Yeah, it's facts.
They said it.
It breaks the rules of economics, or at least what the economists thought were the rules. Yo, the tax rate is so high on Xbox. The only other platforms that have a tax rate this high all failed. The Dreamcast, super
Remember
high
the tax rate? They
Yeah,
hate the fact that
super
you
high.
bring that up. Sick. How dare you bring up a tax rate?
A tax rate is key because that's where the money is. Remember, this is a razor and razor blades type of business. They sell these systems at a loss, make it back with the games. When your tax rate is high, this is how you make your money. This is why Nintendo doesn't drop the prices of their games. Okay, to go back to what you were saying from the very beginning of the show. That's why. Those are the top games you get for Nintendo platforms or their in-house games, right? So those games never drop in price because that's what you're getting the platform for anyway. That's how Nintendo makes their money. Microsoft does a tax rate. So all these outdated metrics of console sales. First off, Microsoft isn't even revealing their numbers, and
Outdated.
we all know every system on both platforms and the Switch are selling. Every available system sells within moments, still in this pandemic era that we're in now. Okay? That's not going to change if everybody is vaccinated tomorrow or somehow, some way, this pandemic just vanished like that. That's not going to change for a while, if that. Every system is being sold. So, how are you going to count one system that you can get the numbers from, another system you can only allude to from some things that could give you an idea, but you already know one is producing more than the other, and both are selling them all out. So whatever number you could come, with educated guesses and other, logical things, still means nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing to gauge now until there's systems on shelves and there's numbers that you can reference. But you know what number is going to be easily referenced? It's these numbers that League was talking about. How much money they're making per quarter. Every time they're coming out and they're like, Game Pass was 15, now it's 18. Oh, now it's 20. Oh, my bad. It was 18 I said. No, it's 20 now.
Dumb, ain't
Like
they? Just
it's
dumb.
it's they're just it's just rising every time you hear about it. Back when I heard it was 15, I'm like, it's gonna be 20 pretty quick. Then it was 18. I'm like, wow, that's faster than I could have. Then it was already 20 before I could finish the thought. It was that quick. And who knows how high it is now? Because by the time we get that information, it's old news already. So imagine how high it is now. That attach rate of Game Pass and everything else, and just the sales. In fact, there was an article. I wish I'd gotten the link, but I think it was from Xbox. It was on purexbox.com. Sales are up 20% or something like that on Game
Right.
Pass.
Right.
Because remember, you could buy your games on Game Pass at I think it's actually a 20% discount. It's at that same discount of 20%. So it's ironic if sales are up by 20%. It just goes to show you get in what you put in what you get out of it. They put in that 20%. Now they're getting back 20% in sales. That's poetic.
You know what's sick? All they need to know is that Microsoft makes more money than Sony.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They try to act and look, it's like my man Michael Bowen said today, Stormwalker 4. He said, is this guy actually just ignoring the legally required quarterly report that Microsoft has given literally indie quarters since being a public company then? How last quarter they pocket that is put into the bank as pure profit? 15 billion. Notice this is what's so beautiful about the streets.
Mm.
The 15, I want everybody to understand this. The 15 billion that Microsoft made was all profit. That was 15 billion. What? Hey, we got 15 billion dollars to blow. Okay, sick. We just made 15 billion dollars to blow. All profit. That 25 billion you hear from Sony, that ain't all profit. Understand the dummies you support. At least look. All I say is listen. If you want to support a dummy, you have every God-given right to support a dummy. But just don't support a dummy and then you get caught being a dummy. All right? That don't make sense. If you're a dummy and you're supporting a dummy, that means you're not learning anything. All right?
And on top of that,
Microsoft.
why do they double down? Why do they double down when they're caught and they like you think you would learn? That's why they're dummies, because you don't learn. You see, someone who's not a dummy will learn from your mistakes, but you keep making it like what kind of like it's a new type of stupid out here, man. For
why
real.
Why would you double down on being dumped? Oh man, come on, Sig.
It's fact though. I'm not trying to be insulting or nothing, but that's constantly what's going on. It's been like that. It's been like that all the past year. Well, the past year in particular with the Xbox Series X. As soon as it was announced at the Game Awards, it's been starting since then. And K Mega and I can talk about this. God, for every episode of this show, we would always have to address one stupid thing the PlayStation fans would say that was completely wrong. And by the end of the week, the facts come out, prove them wrong. And by the next week, we're right back at where we started with the next excuse, with the next thing. Okay, this week was the Atmos thing, right? It's already switching to something else, right?
That's
about
right,
the whole Xbox Live thing.
That's it.
But meanwhile, it's ironic that the word of PlayStation 3, the PSN support for PlayStation 3, the PSP, and the Vita are about to go.
But
like
why?
But what's this? They tried to hide that.
But we just got confirmed, right? They don't even resubscribe. So why are they even talking about subscriptions on other platforms when they themselves aren't even taking care of the one that they have? They're not even doing what they're supposed to be doing on their platform, but yet they yapping, chewing carrots on other platforms on what they're doing.
It's called moving goalposts. That's what that is.
Vodka, you're exactly right. Who is the bigger fool? The fool or the one who follows him? Obi-Wan. Yep. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. You can't. It's like, I don't know, man. It has to be the fact that I'm going to follow this person because they bash Xbox. And I just want to see how far, they go by bashing Xbox, because as long as they're bashing Xbox, they heal my heart. Now, notice, every day that goes by, right? Every day that goes by, it hurts them. It hurts them. It hurts them that Xbox fans have something to talk about that they're enjoying. As a matter of fact, we have too many games to play. And as a matter of fact,
literally,
too many games to play. And as a matter of fact, people, Watch Dogs Legion is $20 on Xbox right now. I bet it ain't $20 on PlayStation. It's $20 right now on Xbox. Go
and then the rumor
it.
Uplay is coming. Oh my God! Like, if you think the situation is bad now, it's about to get a whole lot worse. It's about to get a whole lot worse for your back catalog. Which, wow, that's some first world problems now, isn't it? That you have too many games to play. That's starting, like, if you're a long-time gamer, that's just the thing that goes with the territory. But now it's actually a problem now with Game Pass. Game Pass is giving me a problem I ain't mad to have. I don't know about you, but I am not mad to have at all. Too many games to play.
There's a dude on Twitter that says I was wrong about Xbox Game Pass. It's legit. Well, duh. Like, duh. It's been legit for 2.5 years. Like, it's going
Welcome
on.
To the party,
it's on the third year. Like, it was legit then. It's not. This isn't a. This isn't a wake up experience. Oh, I woke up. I had an epiphany. And Xbox Game Pass is legit. But we'll just say, hey man, listen. Some people just learning how to use pull-ups, okay? So I was wrong about Xbox Game Pass. It's legit. It's nuts that I can be at work on the Game Pass app, figuring out what games I want to install while I'm at work so they can be ready to play when I get home. Now, I don't know where this dude's been living, but he's on it. I mean, he might have been living on a rock, but he's catching up to us. It's nuts. Right now, there are over 300 games available for Game Pass. Nuts, he said. Now, you're telling me that somebody like this guy, right, who can come out of nowhere, all right, as innocent as he is, admitting that he was wrong about Game Pass, but is going to speak the truth, right? Sick. That's what they don't like. That's the kryptonite to the Donkey Nation is truth. All right? That's all it is. The fact that you're hating on a gaming service that you pay $15 a month for and you get 300 games. Now, look, you know how they always talk about the first party games, right? Oh, well, the first party games, day one. Hey, that's not it. That's not all that's great about it. Not only do you get the day one first party games, but you don't pay for none of the DLC action either. All of that is free.
Mhm.
Every bit of that is free. On top of every upgrade that happens on Xbox costs us nothing. And here you guys and girls over there on PlayStation happen to start all over because you bought a brand new console. Now, Sick, I don't know
Mhm.
about you, but I'm just trying to say, how in the hell does that make any damn sense? How does that make any sense to you, man? We're in 2021. And if you're getting penalized because you upgrade to the better console and you get penalized in your investment by doing it. How
It's
does
like
that
what
make
I
any
said
sense?
before. It's like what I said before, when you had that snowstorm out there in Texas and it reminded you of how pervasive and important electricity is in your life. You can't do nothing
Right.
without it. You can't stay warm. It's hard to feed yourself. It's hard to entertain you. It's hard to do almost anything. It's that so it's that uh it's it's like food and water, electricity. You gotta have these things in the modern day, right? So when you see the way Microsoft does things with backwards compatibility and everything else, and how they're able to leverage that with Game Pass and then do things like the auto HDR and the frame rate boost, it's because they invested in the core element from the start. Okay, everything makes sense on the Xbox. As soon as it's not working right because live is down, and all of a sudden you see your Xbox isn't acting right and things are a little delayed, particularly now with the newer Xbox where the dashboard is so lightning quick, you're going to feel that little delay if live is acting up, right? Like it's fundamental to how everything is, but they took the time and the effort to put in the work. And so now they can take advantage of it in new and innovative ways. And only someone with the foresight would see that. But for the people out there who are just straight clowns and just want to repeat lies, it's like you see, particularly when you're lying in front of someone who knows the truth, you see how they form their lies, okay? And they can lie by telling the truth and also by avoiding the truth. They'll say true things without the other part of the truth. You follow what I'm saying? So
I'm
you
here.
can misrepresent with
Right.
facts, but not showing all the facts. But when you do that in front of someone who knows, they know what to say. But the liar too knows what to say to combat that or avoid that because they're the ones lying and they know exactly what the person who knows the truth is going to do. So it may sound a little confusing, but let me give you the example. PlayStation guy on Twitter misrepresenting something. Let's say this whole Atmos thing. What happens? A flood of Xbox fans or whatever, just people in general who know the truth, right? The details. They start breaking it down. It's like, no, it's because of this XYZ, right? And if the PlayStation pony goes back and forth with these people, you'll notice that person will never address the things they're talking about. They keep moving the goalposts to other aspects that surround the situation, but don't actually answer the situation. And both sides know the truth. Both sides know the truth. The liar knows the truth. That's how they're able to lie. Because if they weren't lying and they were just saying the truth, there would be no conflict between the two sides. But also, the other side wouldn't know what to say to point out the lies if they didn't know the truth. You follow? So it's just back and forth all day long. And it
they built empires off of this stuff.
Exactly.
Empires.
Exactly. And PlayStation is living off of that. They have for a long time now, for years now. Because if you actually notice, they really don't say all that much.
Nope, they don't have to.
They don't have to. They got these PlayStation fanboys out there running marketing for them.
That's it.
For free.
For free, bro.
If you notice all these big PlayStation haters here on YouTube, all they ever talk about is Xbox. Okay, there's certain PlayStation fanboys who be in the chats in the shows that I be on. There's one in particular, everybody knows the one, but there are others too. There are in so many Xbox podcasts. Like when I'm at work, I work alone. Most 9 times out of 10. There's one person, from time to time I'll work with. But other than that, I'm alone. I've got my cell phone. I can have whatever Xbox live stream on YouTube that's happening. I support everybody on YouTube who's out there supporting me. I'm a fan like everybody in this chat. I be in chats of constant Xbox podcasts or gaming podcasts in general. Okay? Everybody in the chat here can verify. Everybody in the chat can verify. Okay? I'm there alongside them every day.
It's what you like to do. It's what you like to be a part of. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro.
They can attest as much as I can that there are certain people out there who just hop in and you see them all day long. I'm at work. I've got my cell phone. I could pop in the chat and say hi, whatever. I'm at work and I'm listening in the background as I work. That's usually what I'm doing, right? But when I'll look at the chat and I see people are arguing with somebody and I can't see who because I've already been blocking these morons, right? But I see the argument back and forth. And then I realize it's these same names that they're arguing with 24/7. When do you have time to play the system that you're annoying people about?
It tells off on themselves. They tell off on themselves.
Exactly. And one of the biggest ones, I happen to have his PSN account name. I happen to know what it is, right? And I've looked at it. He doesn't play anything. Plus, I know from other people I've spoken to, he's out there on these streets asking for he's begging for games from other people. And he's one of the biggest trolls out there. It's just like, what? What is wrong with you? And I've literally questioned this person's mental health to his face. Well, not literally to his face, online. I say to him, and all of a sudden his demeanor changes. Constantly, like people are doing this, but it doesn't change. So now you got to think, what is wrong with a person like that? But it just goes to show what I said before. It's this really small segment with really big mouths, and they're putting a bad name to those other people who are part of the group, or at least they represent for one platform, who aren't doing any of those things. But they're being lied to, they're being misinformed, they're being tricked, they're being all types of things. It's real out there, for real. And like I said, if you think I'm biased for one, from episode 1 of the Dragon's Den podcast, the first controller I picked up and showed you was not an Xbox controller. It was a PlayStation controller. I play games on whatever, if it's worthy. But there are a lot of suspect things that are happening in and out of the industry. Okay, by the industry and by those who are supposed to consume what this industry puts out. And it's childish. The only time I've ever seen anything like this, and I say this all the time, because that was the only time when I could think back when myself and everyone who was a part of that situation were constantly full of, I don't want to curse, but turds.
Right.
Okay? And that was in the 16-bit era. Okay? Because if you were of a certain age, you were in the schoolyard with the other gamers, you rep for Nintendo or Sega, and I mention this all the time, and you go back and forth about, right? But you didn't know too much about the about the little technologies we had then, about Mode 7 and FM synthesis and 240p, little things like that from back then, that we as kids, when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, like we go back and forth debate. Oh, this system has that, but this is. But in the end, you really wanted all of them, but you knew you could only have one, right? Because your parents are not going to get you both, and that's if they even get you one. If you didn't have to earn the money to get it yourself.
That's why what you're just saying right here is why I always said owning multiple consoles never validated anyone for being a gamer. That's not even the gamer's Bible. It's not even in the gamer's Bible, bro. That's that donkey mindset of weakness. Weakness, right? That's anytime you start bringing consoles up to me, that's a sign of weakness. That's not a sign of strength. The only time it's a sign of strength is when you say, hey, listen, I had this console. Man, I was playing these games and I was playing these games and I was playing these games. I'll listen to you. But if you just come out of the blue and just say, well, I'm a gamer, that's kind of like, you know what okay, I'll put it like this. That kind of talk is when I was growing up, man, and my white friends would be like, well, I'm not a racist. I have black friends. And I'm like, what the heck does that have to do with not being a racist? If you wasn't a racist, you wouldn't have to validate that by saying you have black friends. You would just say, I'm not a racist.
They just don't get it.
Right.
They just don't get it.
So the minute you say, I'm a gamer, okay, right there, good. But when you say, I'm a gamer because I own all the consoles, that's where you mess up with me. Because what I've learned in my living off experience is when the ones that say that are the ones that aren't gaming the most. They got consoles, but those consoles collect dust. And they pick and choose what games they want to play. That's not okay. Like I've always said, there's levels. Yes, that's still gaming, but it's not at a level to where the way they're making it sound as if I have all these consoles and I'm just putting in all this work. No, you're not. You have to take time out of your life to game, first of all. If you have multi-consoles and you're claiming to be this gamer, that's telling me one thing. You don't have a job, bro. One, you can't possibly have a job playing all these consoles. You're in the house all day long. Think about it. You're playing on Nintendo, you're playing on PlayStation, you're playing on Xbox. You don't have time for a relationship. You don't have time for anything. You're making love to these consoles. You're going to bed with these consoles. Because
that's why they fight for them so hard. That's all they have.
Right.
But they don't even enjoy it. They're out there starting these wars instead of actually enjoying the thing that they claim they love.
Now you'll get the ones that are weak, right? They come out here talking about they're neutral. So if you're neutral, why are you on Twitter? Neutrals don't have time for Twitter. They're gaming because they're neutral. I have all these consoles and I gotta go because I'm gaming. I got that. But you're on Twitter yapping about fanboys and how much of a neutral you are, but you're on Twitter.
The very fact that you're saying that,
right,
that just proves you're not neutral. I hate that. I hate that when
don't even care.
Arguing. Right. Exactly. If two sides are arguing and you just interrupted to say you're neutral or whatever, or just some some blanket excuse just to get the argument to stop, that's not stopping the argument. And on top of that, the two sides are arguing and looking at you like, who the hell are you? Nobody asked you. You shut up.
Facts. Here's my thing. To everybody out there that doesn't like console wars, like I said, that doesn't like when people compare two items and you say you hate that stuff, you're a fronter and a liar. Yeah. Because nobody shops generically just off the notion of their straight stupidity. I ain't say ignorance, I said stupidity. Nobody does that, right? And everything that we do, we compare things. Everything we do. Because comparing things is a part of being a human being. We compare our women. Women compare the men. We compare cars. We compare clothes. We compare houses. We even compare our money. Hey, this dude makes more money than me.
Mm.
We compare restaurants. This restaurant is better. Look, everything is okay, right? You know where I'm going with this, Sick. Everything. Oh, I don't like the Lakers. I like the Celtics. But we can compare everything else. But when it comes to consoles, it's the worst thing anybody could ever talk about. It's console comparison. Oh, don't you do that. Oh, you better not. You're not a gamer. You're a fanboy. So you're comparing Xbox and PlayStation. Here you go. You're a fanboy. Dude, just quit Twitter. Quit social media. Because everybody that compares a console isn't an obsessed fanboy, whatever. I even hate saying that word because this generation is weak. We say things like ponies. Like, dude, really, we're grown men. We saying ponies? Ponies. I mean, if y'all want to say 7 years ago that was cool, because see, I wasn't on this stuff like that. I've never was on this stuff like that. But if I'll give or take 7 years ago, some of y'all were just turning 20 or whatever, and y'all was still running around having the word pony come out your mouth. I'll give you a pass. But now the least are almost 30 years old, and some of y'all in 30s, and some of y'all in your 40s, and y'all are still saying ponies. You saying that word like you're grown men now. Like that's where we're at. You're running around. I'm like, dude, at some point, this is the beauty of our generation, what Sick was saying. The reason why we're not inclined like you guys are is because we evolved as gamers. We went through our generations evolving. While like Sick said, Sony knows that you guys are incapable of evolving correctly. This is why Sony and Nintendo stays the way they are. Because every time they try to evolve something, you guys fail them. Sony wants VR so bad, but yet you guys are going to keep failing them. You don't buy their games. You don't resubscribe to their services. But yet you want Sony to just miraculously improve. It's not how it works. If you want your brand to improve, you got to support it. Because as much as you love Sony's going to start throwing your games on PC. Because
they already are.
Right. When I say throwing them, I'm talking about
increasing the price because y'all didn't pay up. So now it's going to cost you more. So now you want to support to slow down this whole progress. It's already too late now because now, even if you could, it's going to cost you more now than it would have if you was doing it all along. If you should have. The platform you claim to support so much, you really didn't support it that well. The numbers prove it. Okay, the fact that they're going to PC like this. Okay, he flat out lied to you. Jim Ryan did when he said they don't. They believe in generations. Clearly, they don't. They're doing the same moves Microsoft was doing, just without saying. They just do it. They just do it. And the ball rolling for this really started. You remember when they released the date of the PS5 would be up for pre-order in the Walmart like an hour later that day, on that whole presentation. That was the beginning of the end for them in my mind, because that was when we finally saw the PlayStation 5, we saw the price and everything, but then there was a whole pre-order debacle. But during that whole presentation, I think there were, or is a presentation, that presentation, they were showing off all these games, and at the end of every game they show the platform it's going to be on. And just typical Sony, have been doing this since E3. I've mentioned this before. Like, you look at what platforms it's going to be on, is most of these games are not exclusive. They're not even exclusive. They're timed exclusive, or they're going to be on PC, or they're not exclusive at all. But the whole time they're up on stake and they're showing it on the screen, but they don't allude to anything else, but they try to make it seem as if it's exclusive. It's like when that one game that everybody's hyped for on a recent PlayStation thing is called Sifu. On the screen, it says PS4 and PS5, and I think he even said PC, but let's say it didn't say PC because I at least expect that, right? But the voiceover is saying PS5. They don't even mention PS4, but it's coming to PS4. It's also coming to PC. But that's not what the voiceover says. She just mentions PS5. You don't believe me? Go back and look. But anyway, like I was saying before, that whole presentation where they finally showed off the system, they kept doing that with a lot of games. And a lot of people were like, wait a minute, but where's it? And now slowly we're hearing about this game coming to PC, and this game is really multi-platform. This one is a time exclusive. This one is just a PS4 game that's really on PS5, but it's really just a PS4 game. All these things that they gave Microsoft crap for, Sony was doing the exact same things. Because it's not crap. It's just business. Bro. It's that simple. But who really ran with that? These same PlayStation fanatics we're talking about, and the press who enabled them, who didn't put out the facts.
That's why they're their job. Not the majority of the reason why they're so dumb is because they listen to these articles, bro. They don't even research. It's just whatever they say, they run with it.
And just to show you that times are changing. Okay, so what's that article that came out recently where dude was like he's liking his Xbox a lot more than his PlayStation, right? Now that article had a lot of traction for multiple reasons, and actually, least of all was what was actually in the article. It was about where it came from. And then the fact that it wasn't the only one of its ilk that's starting to come out. There are a lot of articles. There are a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of discussion from a lot of people that the Xbox is a better system than the PlayStation. And it may not be in performance of games or whatever, but it's the whole situation around it. It's about how it works. It's about when you upgrade your games, when you buy games. It's about Game Pass. It's about the value. It's about everything the platform does, the ecosystem provides, that the other one isn't doing. But the attention that these articles are getting, I keep saying, is because of where they're coming from, because these are the same press outlets that not so long ago were hiding for PlayStation. When bad news came out for PlayStation, they either didn't mention it, but would have, or just have basic articles that just list the facts real quick and is real low key, and they never make a video about it. I'm looking at you, IGN, right? But if the same situation happens on Xbox, it's a big video. They make a video about it big time. They tweet it all over the place when they make the article, and the article has the video in it as well. It's this whole big stink that they do. But when the shoe's on the other foot, that doesn't happen. But now maybe slowly it's starting to happen. If the press is starting to side with Xbox, and I'm only seeing a little inkling of this now. I'm not saying this is really beginning to be a trend. I think it's really early to say that, but this is already the beginnings of that. If that's what that truly is, maybe it truly is already a wrap for PlayStation and that Xbox One. But I'm not saying that, but it's already looking like it's already on the path. And here's the other thing, like Xbox Network, we just heard how Xbox Live is being renamed to the Xbox Network, right? And at the same time, this is when Sony decided to announce that the PlayStation Network is dropping support for the PSP and the PS Vita. When you look at that, they announced that at that same time to try to hide that. But don't forget, Microsoft is supposed to have a presentation pretty soon. So this could be when they announce that Xbox Live is going away, okay? This could be when they announce, okay, there's Discord that's coming up. That there's talks that Microsoft is buying Discord for $10 billion, like you mentioned earlier. A lot of this stuff could be mentioned at this presentation they're about to have, this little event they're having. Xbox Live is really gone, and it's just Game Pass. That's major.
You know what?
This is the complete opposite.
That right there, that would be the big bomb, man. If that happens, and that would be killer because I always said this. I think Microsoft is getting to that point where they don't want their fans feeling like wherever they're at, it's an inferior situation. So over there on Game Pass PC, that they don't have to pay for live services. They don't pay for that. They don't pay
Right.
for the online. So Microsoft might just say, you know what? Our console fans have been here the longest under this Xbox brand. There's no need for them to pay for online right now when they're buying already into Game Pass. Because when you think about it, you are paying online. When the online money is automatically put into Game Pass. When you buy Game Pass, you're actually buying half a live, half a Game Pass. Game Pass Ultimate is both of them combined. That's what it is.
Right.
So if they just say, listen, we do away with Xbox Live. You buy Xbox. If you pay for Game Pass, you're only going to get this amount of. You can only go this far, right? But if you pay for Ultimate, you got it's endless for you. So let's just say you get your 4 games a month. You get everything that Xbox Live Gold gave you and more. But Game Pass just gives you them 100 games off the top. That's it. That's a deal right there. $9.99, get 100 games. Who's going to complain about that? And with Ultimate, you get over 300 games plus all free DLCs and 4 games a month for free. Who's going to complain about that?
Yep. And now AAA games are coming day and date to Xbox. Outriders is only the first. Trust is going to be more and more common. And when the ball really gets rolling, there's the first party, there's third party. Every month there's going to be a new game that's coming to Game Pass. That's a AAA.
Facts. Look, man, the devs have already spoke for it. They said, man, we're making money off of Game Pass when they already know they wouldn't have made this much money without Game Pass. They know these things. Like they've been in the game long enough. They've seen their previous transactions. They're like, dude, we're continually getting growth on our game that would have been dead 3 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, they know this stuff. Because when the games are available, it's just like I said, when you walk into the arcade room, the last thing you're thinking, see what I'm saying, Sick? The last thing you're thinking about is if I'm going to be able to play all these games. When you, watch this, Sick, when you put 50 arcade machines in a room, you give people choices what they're going to play. You're always going to have a crowd playing on an arcade game because you've given them massive choice. Now, let's just talk like donkeys real quick. I got 3 games. They're all walking simulators, hold your hand, soap opera, emotional, cinematic experiences. They're all Gottis. And we're going to give you 3 games a year. 3 of them. They're Gottis every year, but just 3 games. You put those 3 games in the arcade and see how much money you make off of them. You see what I'm saying? The reason why you're not going to make that much money just be straight clear, everybody won't get a chance to play those games. You won't be able to have all your audiences to play all 3 of those machines. So you're going to lose more money. But if you put 50 arcade machines in that arcade room, guess what's going to happen? You spread out gamers. People are going to go start trying out these new games. You know what I'm saying? And your dungeon starts to grow. That's gaming. You know what? That's gaming 101. But see,
it was common sense when they first announced Game Pass that's what was going to happen. Yeah, I don't even think it was Microsoft who really said that, but it was the gamers who started telling Microsoft that. And Microsoft was like, "Oh, really?" And they started adapting Game Pass to be, more in line with that, to enable that further. They were like, "Oh, we have a business opportunity here to make it even better because it's putting other games, giving other games shine that wasn't getting no shine before."
Do you remember the very, very first birth pains of Game Pass? It came by way of clubs. It came by way of community chat. Remember that? They were sitting up here like, "Hey, man, what was it? Game share. Look at our game share. Look, Sony started it, but they didn't finish it right. You game share, you're limited. It's like everything Sony does, you're limited. You don't get that full capacity. When we game share, we game share. There's no limit to it. If I share my console with you, that's it. You're getting all my games. You play them as long as you want. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's somebody who don't even have to pay for their games. That's crazy. One person can pay for all those games, and the other person, all they got to do is play them. That's it. You know, and when you think about that, that's crazy when you think about giving back, because they realize that, hey, our community is based off community. So let's just throw clubs in there. Look, people started hanging out in clubs. People wanted to play Destiny. Look how Destiny blew up on Xbox by way of clubs. People were interacting. Hey, man, I'm looking for 3 people to play with me. Jump over there. Hey, I'm looking for 2 people to run with me. Play with me. I'm looking for somebody. I need 1 more person. Come. That was out of your clubs. I mean, that was out of your chat. You can get these notifications, man. You go run and go meet new players, meet new gamers. Next thing you know, Destiny blowing up. You want to know what's funny? When Destiny went to Sony, right? They had that year deal, right? That year exclusive, right?
Right.
But what was funny was the gamers were on Xbox. Even with the fact that Sony had the marketing deal and had timed exclusive of a year
on the DLC.
On the DLC, and the Xbox fans were playing it more than the PlayStation fans. These are facts. Now, my only thing is this. You want to talk tough, you want to act tough, but you're not gaming tough. And this is your record. You have a track record of this situation right here. Xbox gamers play these games, and at some point they're like, listen, man, every time we bet against the Xbox community, we're just not winning. Look what just happened. Look what happened. Look what happened with the Marvel Avengers game. And now look what they're doing. Look at the Xbox Series X, best version out. Look at it. And look what the news happened with Spider-Man. Spider-Man was supposed to be coming out about right now. That DLC for Spider-Man was supposed to come out right now. It was supposed to come out early 2021. Look at it now. Ain't nowhere to be heard. You know why? Because when they start trying to pull that exclusivity talk, which didn't make no sense, the gamers, the real gamers, the ones that pull in their pockets, stopped supporting. Marvel Avengers dropped all the way to the bottom. Look what they're doing now. Oh, people were talking about we need a Black Panther game. They listened, they heard. So I know they're bringing out the Black Panther, but that's based off of their failure. That wasn't their desire. That wasn't their desire. They know that was a chess move right there. Okay, so we're gonna chess move Black Panther. I'm not gonna complain. Bring him out. But we know why you really bringing him out. But bring him out anyway. Where's Spider-Man though? Now we got news that there's no time frame when Spider-Man is gonna be here. Yeah, because Spider-Man's only gonna come when Marvel Avengers is successful. That's how it works. When the Xbox fans make it successful, then we'll get knocked back down and be treated like third class gamers again. That's how it works. We come in, we put in, it's there, sick. It's all there. We don't have to wonder anymore, and that's what's pissing them off. See, they used to be able to hide behind the veil, say what they had to say, and they go hide. But now there's nowhere to hide because they don't have the inferior console. Their console ain't even doing real next-gen quality. The PlayStation, let's just keep it real on Di-RRec Gaming tonight, people. I know you PlayStation fans are bugging out on what the PlayStation 5 can do. I know your minds are like, woo! But we were woo-wooing in 2017 with the Xbox One X. It was already capable of 4K. We were woo-wooing then. You're 3 years late to this party. 3 years late. 3 years late. And you want to know the sad part about it is? It was doing 4K with the Jaguar chip. That was
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft's way of just telling everybody how great they are. Where everybody else, poor Nintendo, poor Nintendo. But you know what, NVIDIA, go help them, man. They need y'all.
Bro,
NVIDIA does such a great work with Nintendo. I have to say,
bro, here's the thing about that too, man. Uh, like I don't have a Switch because from day one I knew it was 2 year old NVIDIA technology when it came out. And I could see it in the games, like they could perform. And if they did, and as soon as the Switch Pro or the Super Switch or whatever they call it um comes out, I'm buying it. That's what I've been waiting on, right? But to back up what you said about Nvidia and Nintendo, like when Nintendo first went Nvidia, that was the smart move. And and the way I'd like to show that off is with the Nvidia Shield. A lot of people like the Apple TV, and that's a great set-top box. And a lot of people like to use Fire Sticks really because of Kodi, because that was the cheapest thing you can get to put Kodi on. That was easy to get. No, we get that, but it's a okay platform as well. They have very many Fire TV sticks and boxes or whatever, and that's a great ecosystem too, right? But one of the best set-top boxes out there is the NVIDIA Shield TV with the exact same processor that's in the Switch, and it was out 2 years ago. And so now at this point, what? That's like 4 years now, because the Switch has been 2 years old now. So this box is like 4 years old now, and it's still the top box out there. There's that and the Apple TV, whatever new Apple TV is out, is the top box, right? It does everything: HDR, 4K video,
this is
Dolby
true.
Vision, everything, right? So imagine a Switch with an upgraded version of that chip finally, with that OLED screen that they're talking about. That's gonna look great, right? But it's the typical Nintendo to take forever to do it. But it also goes back to what I was saying before when it comes to their first parties and all that. They're already making this money. It's not really going to change for them. It's going to change for me because now I get to experience those games in a manner that's a that benefits my opinion and the way I prefer to play. I'm not trying to have like The Witcher on the Switch looking crappy like that. If I'm going to play The Witcher
That's
on the
what I
Switch
was
for
just going to tell
portable,
you,
I
Sick.
want something that looks good.
Sick, you're not playing the Switch. I'm telling you right now, bro. I have it. It's just what you just said. Nobody's stupid, bro.
Yeah.
Like, look, listen, man. It's like the general said. At some point, you graduate from pull-ups. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I don't enjoy Mario Brothers, but I've stopped playing Mario since the new Super Mario Brothers. I just it's just like, look, at some point, I even liked, look, what was it? The one where you can wear the cat suit, Mario World, Super Mario World. Remember that? It was
Yeah,
fun.
3D Mario World.
Too short, too easy, too short, too easy and too short. Bosses too easy. I mean, like you're like, it's like I
What?
get it,
Wow.
but here's me as a Nintendo fan in 2021. Where's that Galactic Metroid game at? Where's that Galactic Zelda game at? And I said Galactic. When is she coming out of the castle? Like, let's see this. Let's see her come out of the castle. Let's see Link. Let's do a Link, and let's do a Link. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. At some point, I get it. Now, listen, I get it. I understand that Nintendo is the king of the animated cartoon type games. I get that. It's the family orientated console, and I get that. But what I'm saying is, I'm glad that Mike Tyson is coming back and he's redoing it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving me a reason as an Xbox, as a damn Nintendo fan to buy a Nintendo. And look, I don't care about the little handheld feature of the Switch. Give me a console, give me a TV, move out of the way. Give me Punch Out, give me Metroid, give me a good Mario Brothers game. Give me what even happened to Luigi Mansion? That
was the other thing I said. Yeah, that's the other thing I said. I said, why don't they just make a box version of the Switch?
Yeah,
same system without the screen.
Right.
You already got the NVIDIA Shield that's dirt cheap. You can make one even cheaper. It doesn't need a battery, doesn't need the screen. You're eliminating a lot of, pieces that's going to make it even cheaper and just spread out even more. Right? And then you have some functionality where, somebody else has their Switch. It's on the Wi-Fi. They communicate so it's multiplayer better or whatever. Like, this is Nintendo's wheelhouse, and they didn't do it.
And
they still can, but they probably won't.
And watch this, sick. Something that they don't like gamers like me and you to bring up. Nintendo don't have a great community, an online community.
No.
They got all these handhelds. They got all these Switch portables and portable this and portable that. Hybrid this, hybrid that. No community. Let me tell y'all something, man.
And to make it hard to have community there.
Facts. Yeah. I had one of my Voltron members call me today, man. It's been a while, man. I mean, it's been a long time, and he wants to get up on here, man, and tell the story about our glory days of Gears 3. And he was a sniper, dude, one of the best snipers. If I sat here and told y'all the story, y'all wouldn't believe me. So that's why I'm gonna have some people come up on here. We're gonna talk about some great glory days. If you ever ran a game in your life, then you understand our hearts. But if you've never ran a game in your life, you don't get it. You don't understand this kind of talk. That's all I'm gonna say. But it was a beautiful thing. What we've did and what we accomplished was incredible. And you know what he told me? He said, man, he was young, dude. He's only 23 now. So imagine this dude. Like, these dudes didn't sleep. They were kids. Like, on the weekends, man, we would ball out. I was traveling. I was a wind tech. So when it got rained out, I'd be in my apartment, dude, or my hotel. Wi-Fi'd out. I'll be playing with them from sun up to sundown. We wouldn't lose games. It was just ridiculous, dude. Right? But now he's only 23 years old, man. And he was telling me how, going to school and working, and he struggled, and he was saying, should I get an Xbox or get this car, get this? I said, yeah, the life was hitting you, man. And he was laughing. He was like, yeah, so I already had a PC because of the work. So I was like, well, I got the PC and I can play some Xbox games on it. So he went that way, and he said this to me straight up. He says, listen, man, I was playing the games. I was enjoying my gaming. He says, but there was no life over there. I just didn't feel the same.
There is, but it's more manual. It's more manual.
Yeah,
far more manual.
He told me, he was like, legal. I'm being honest with you. And this was our discussion today. He told me this today. He was like, it just didn't feel the same. Now notice, now look, I'm gonna give them the smoke, because a lot of times PC gamers they get too full of themselves.
Yes,
and you have to watch it about them.
Pause. I just want to add one little thing real quick to that, though.
Go ahead, because I'm about to.
These loud PC heads are not true PC heads. True PC heads don't care. True PC heads don't always have the highest end hardware. That 1060, that lower card you was alluding to, that was the 1060. That's the 1080p / 1440p card when it came out. I should know. I bought one too. Okay. Most gamers on PC are like the Series S type gamers. They play a range of things. There's crackhead sales on Steam. So these loud people are saying blah, 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 and they say PC Master Race. Remember, there was a guy, I forget his name, but he was like an Australian guy, and he had stick figures, in his videos, and he spoke really fast. Okay, forget the name of the guy. But it came from his show, or his little YouTube show, and he was making fun of the fake idea of these PC map, and it was a joke to insult these people, and these loud morons took this on, not even realizing the insult that it was. So I think, I just want to put that out there, because I'm a PC guy, and a lot of stuff you're saying, I agree, but we do gotta encapsulate that with that. It's really, just like we were saying about these PlayStation fanatics. These are the PC fanatics, and a lot of them are just fake PC fanatics who don't like Xbox and just using that as another, line that they spit in their list of excuses. So just want to put that out there.
That's facts. A new report claims that 48%, that's a big number, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Pretty much half.
48% of all gaming happens on PCs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
With a whopping 3.1 billion gamers worldwide across all platforms, consoles, and mobile devices. So that's combined 3.1 billion, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting here is how the data breaks down across region and in terms of gaming spend. See, it's the same thing with doofuses come out and they start telling you about how much revenue a company makes without telling you quarterly, because everybody knows companies measure their success quarterly, 4 times a year. And unless you go by quarterly, it doesn't matter what you're telling us. It doesn't matter. You have to see it in 4 threes of 4 in a year. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, it's not hard to understand this. It is all fiscal year, right? During the fiscal years, 4 quarters in a year. So just like with this, so you break down regions so that you can isolate and it's like getting more detailed, okay? So it says what's interesting here is how the data breaks down across region and in terms of gaming speed. And because we break down regions, this is another reason why these donkeys can't understand why Xbox is so successful. Xbox doesn't have to be successful all worldwide. All it has to do is be great in its region. All right. The data here is from DFC Intelligence via PC Gaming and suggests that the PC versus console framing for understanding gaming is outdated. Sick,
Mm.
did you hear what I just said, Sick?
That was a word I used
So
before.
watch this.
Outdated.
That word is gonna make them mad, bro. The PC versus console framing for understanding gaming is outdated. So what I want to tell my Xbox comrades out here is when you see a PC guy start talking and bashing Xbox, laugh at him. Just like I told you, just because they got a PC don't mean they're smart. All right? That has nothing to do with that. But they want you to think that. They think that they want you to think because we got PCs, we're geniuses or something. Nah. Okay? Only 8% of gamers identify exclusively as console gamers. Only 8%. So what I want to tell my console gamer friends out here is that you're in a very, very small percentage of the gaming community. You're only 8%, man. 8%. All right? That's exclusive. Now, what I meant by that is if you're only gaming on consoles, you're only gaming on a console, you're 8%. That means you don't game on mobile. You're not versatile. So you don't use tablets, you don't even use PC, you're just a console gamer. So if you're just a console gamer, you're at the bottom of the topo. All right. You don't touch nothing else. You don't even go to the arcades. You don't do nothing else. Bottom of the pole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most gamers play across multiple devices. That's true. Now, this is where it gets misconstrued at, Sick. This is what I was talking about. Because most gamers play across multiple devices. Notice what it said, devices. It didn't say multiple consoles. It said multiple devices. That could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
The study does not say, watch this, if console gamers who only play ported console titles on mobile devices such as Fortnite will be considered console plus mobile gamers or strictly console gamers. But I'm assuming the former, right? So this makes sense. Even those of us who identify strongly with one platform, I'm very PC centric, the guy says, still often have some other kind of platform. So he was like, yeah, even the typical gamer still has some kind of platform, something. So technically, my Super Nintendo Classic and my old Wii, we've got hooked up for some vintage Smash Brothers, makes me a console gamer. I've also got a handful of games on my phone. So what am I? A PC gamer? But what am I technically? A multi-device player who has a number of avenues available for how to spend gaming time. Now, watch this. Interestingly, those 8% of console players spend the most money. Damn it, boy, this makes you feel good. I just want to build up my community right now. Interestingly, though, this is interesting, though, that the smallest percentage, those console-only players, that 8%, are the ones that spend the most money per device. We said that tonight.
Yep.
DFC Intelligence notes that their survey only includes gamers who spend actual money for games. Free-to-play games are not included. Knox. Now, you remember that 48%? Slash that in half. Because the truth is coming tonight. Oh, yeah, I had Six Slayer on. We're going live tonight. We extended. This is an extended version of Di-RRec Gaming. It just had to happen. I got my boy Six Slayer on. This doesn't matter. This doesn't count for free-to-play games. So that's 50% of you PC heads gone. So that 48% went down to 24%. This ain't talking about free-to-play games. They're not included. The company believes this estimate double counting across multiple platforms because people are unlikely to buy the same game for multiple machines. Damn, legal, been saying that for years. What's the point of me buying all these consoles when 98% of them play the same games? I've been saying that for years. So if PlayStation drops 3 exclusives, I'm not missing out in gaming. Who cares?
Right.
I don't care if I don't play Uncharted 4. I play Tomb Raider. So you're telling me I'm not playing Uncharted 4? Yeah, right.
It ties into why I love the Xbox platform and prefer it in the first place. It's the most powerful platform. So if I'm already gonna play multi-class, because that's the main type of games everybody plays, right? Because they're the best seller. It just is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. The only thing that ties you to whatever platform is the exclusives, or so it used to be. So the Xbox changed the game, at least for me and for most people who primarily play on Xbox. But most games are there anyway in the best form.
Right. Sick.
So why have multi-plats? Or multiple platforms, I mean.
I buy an Xbox to play the best version of the video game.
Exactly.
Bottom line. Look, I'm about to expose that. That whole we buy exclusives, that's the reason we buy a console. That's a lie. That came out of the donkey community. What did I tell you? To fulfill their bleeding hearts, their emotional withdrawal symptoms. So they say whatever to Band-Aid and they get the goofballs to say it for them, to validate. Right. But I'm about to prove to you that that's not the reason they buy a console, okay? We're going to get to the truth tonight. The company believes this estimate double counting across multiple platforms because people are unlikely to buy the same game from multiple machines. This control should help, but given that the Switch has a ton of ports of other games, I doubt it caught everyone. There are undoubtedly some folks who bought games like Skyrim in 2011, then grabbed them again when they came out on the Switch. Overall, there are 1.42 billion gamers in Asia, 668 million gamers across Europe, 383 million Latin American gamers, and 261 North American gamers. So who are the least amount? You're gonna learn something tonight, folks.
It has to be Asia. It has to be Japan. Well, us.
We are 261 million North American gamers.
I see where you're going.
We're the least. Guess what? We got the bigger mouths, don't we?
All you spend the most.
There you go. The cloud.
And it doesn't matter the system we're talking about either.
Right. See, that's why I told you the fronting. I told you what I say. They're gonna get exposed tonight. All the fronting in the world is tonight on this show, right?
Oh well, I got the nuclear weapon for this point. Oh, you want me to use it now?
Not yet. Keep that nuke. Keep your hand on that red button though. So since we're the least amount, we don't need to be talking like we do so much because we don't. But we've been said that. So the majority, look at Doofus today. He proved it, right? He wanted to talk about how big and bad Sony is, but they're not. Everything about Sony is not big and bad. If it was, then your services would be going good. You wouldn't be shutting down so much. And North American gaming number would be higher than what it is. But it ain't even higher than Latin America, okay? But y'all want to talk about Gears of War. Gears of War is thriving because of the Latin Americas, all right? Which is bigger than us when it comes to gaming. Now, that just shows you the genius side of Microsoft, right? But there isn't an exact breakdown on console versus mobile gaming by area. But consoles have differently availability in different parts of the world. Mobile gaming is the most ambiguous, right? Method of playing because smartphones are now the primary way people worldwide access the internet. So overall, game spending has continued to surge during the COVID-19 pandemic. Watch this. NPD estimates that July spending rose a whopping 34% annually to $3.25 billion. What's truly remarkable, watch this, about this surge is that we're seeing this despite the fact that they're in our final year of the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 life cycle. When you would expect software and hardware sales to be the slowest, Microsoft and Sony's decision to add backward compatibility. Now watch, that was the joke. Look how they thought Sony was going to add backwards compatibility. Just look. That was the joke, right? To their upcoming platforms may have been an incredible wise decision given the disruptions COVID-19 is causing to mainstream game development. Now watch this. This tremendous spending on games bodes well for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X launches. Assuming the economic situation doesn't collapse between now and then, companies such as AMD, Sony, and Microsoft are all likely to see at least a small revenue uptick relative to the original expectation for console sales in 2020 to 2021, right? Watch this, Sick. Keep your hand on that bomb. Here it go. The PC gaming market isn't the fastest growing space. That's mobile. Or the highest revenue generator, also mobile. The PC gamers don't even spend as much as the console gamers do. Why am I listening to a console? Why am I listening to a PC gamer? Why do I listen to them?
Well, you're not listening to PC gamers. You're really talking to some fake ones. But
PC
even those
gamers don't spend as much money.
Nope.
As console gamers do.
They don't spend any more than anybody else.
Right.
They never did. Never did. I can tell you that.
Watch this.
Like I tell you, Steam crackhead sales. Why do you think they're crackhead level? They're not just sales. They're crackhead sales. And for those of you who are fortunate enough not to understand what that means, number one, you're lucky. I wish I had a life like that. Number two, crackheads will steal an expensive item and sell it for the most
cheapest price ever. Yep.
Right. Just to get it sold because crack is cheap. So it guarantees their sale, and that's all they're concerned about because crack controls your mind. But so you sell it at whatever price just to get it out the door. And Steam has crackhead level sales. PC gaming truly was always, computer gaming truly was all around. See, the myth about Nintendo saving the industry is a myth to an extent because when the Atari and all of that got passe and the crash happened, we moved on to the 8-bit micros. That computer I keep mentioning all the time, that got me to all of this at age 3 was the Commodore 64. Little 8-bit computer. It looked like a big keyboard, but it was a whole computer you plugged into a regular TV and you played games on. Most young people who got those wanted those for games. They never used them for anything else. They would tell their parents, "Oh, to help me in school," but they just wanted it to play games, right? So this is how far this goes. But it was never anything greater than anything else. And the only time that PC really blew up in the zeitgeist where it's in the community like that is because of Steam and these crackhead sales brought in a lot of people to play on PC who never would have before. The whole dynamic was changed with that back then.
Facts.
So
now
when you look at it, it's so different.
That's right, Sig. Now watch this. I want to make clear on this. He's right to an extent. except for you left one significant value out as to why Nintendo crowned that console back up. Remember, Nintendo is the first to go international. They went
Yes.
worldwide when no
Right.
other console. That's right. That
Right. They
was
were
the difference.
brave to do
That was the
many
game
things,
changer.
but yeah, gaming would have been around, but Nintendo really did their thing. So
Right, because PC didn't go worldwide. PC wasn't
no, it
worldwide.
did.
It
No,
was
it
just
was
a
segmented.
regular console. It was just popular where it was at in its region. But
Yep.
because Nintendo was in Japan, it was already in the Eastern world. Once it made it popular in the Americas, that was it. It was worldwide success. And gaming was outside of Atari wasn't worldwide.
Nope.
Nowhere else. So you had the rise of console going worldwide. Then you had the fall of console. You had the rise of PC. Then you had the fall of PC. When PC failed, if it wasn't for Nintendo, we probably wouldn't even be. We'd be in the arcades probably still, or because arcades were still strong during the '80s. But who knows what would have happened? Who knows, man? Because even arcades had its ups and downs. Remember?
Yes, it did. That whole game crash hurt the arcades too, and there was a couple of years they were slow until they came back too.
Right,
and that was also the Japanese who fixed that up.
Watch this, chick. A lot of these dummies out here don't realize that the PlayStation console was killing arcades off in the 90s, in the late 90s. It was PlayStation. PlayStation has a lot of negativity effect.
Yeah.
For the gaming community, it has a lot of negative effect. But these lames don't get that. And I'm not knocking them because they like PlayStation. They just don't understand things. They don't.
That's all they know. That's all they know.
They don't understand that there's a lot of companies that if Sony does bad, they're not crying over Sony. I just want them to know that. Like, there's companies that are like, oh well, if they fall off, we don't care. Because
there's lots of people from my generation. Exactly. There's a lot of people from my generation who know nothing and give all due and praise to Nintendo like these Sony fans do Sony. That's all they know. But what they don't know is, in that same 8 and 16-bit era, Nintendo was doing some evil monopolistic stuff. And this is not no allegedly. They were found guilty in court.
Fact.
When you would see a lot of, Capcom games on the Sega Genesis, and it would always say reprogrammed by Sega. Sega had to do the work to port those games themselves because of these illegal contracts Nintendo had, where if you had games on Nintendo, you couldn't port your games to other platforms. In contract, just to make a game on Nintendo. Okay, you want to talk a lot about how Sony pays for exclusives? Imagine if you're a third party like EA, you want to release Madden on PlayStation, but the only way you get to even have the rights to release anything on PlayStation is if your games are exclusively on PlayStation. Not one game, this game, that game, and they pay you, for the privilege. No, all your games. And you don't get nothing, and they print your games for you, and they tell you when you can pick your games up and how many they're going to print for you and how many you're going to be allowed to print that year. That's how Nintendo got down, like some real mafiosos, okay? Okay?
There was no competitor. Until Sega came. Then they had
until Sega came.
Yeah.
That's right. So Nintendo, and this is all a business, so, you don't knock the hustle. But even then, I'm not trying to knock on Nintendo, but I'm trying to say a lot of people didn't know that back then.
Let's not forget Nintendo created the bundle.
Right. The bundle. The bundle. Yep. And they will offer that for one generation and then brought that back with the Wii. And hell, the Wii was successful off of that bundle.
Fact.
Okay. Very successful off of that bundle.
Watch this. You're right. Watch this, sick. Keep that. Get ready for that nuclear bomb. Watch this. Okay, PC gamers don't spend as much as console gamers do. So one interesting fact about the PC gaming market, and here I'm drawing on a different report by Newzoo, right? Is that the PC space is much more static. It also sufficiently, large enough. It's also sufficiently large enough that new releases rarely shift the market's month-to-month performance. Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
It's
So
so big you don't even see the
so when they're
blip on the
yapping,
radar.
but it's not moving. It's not moving the market.
Nope.
Nothing they do moves their market. Now watch this. According to Newzoo, now this is where it gets funny. Okay, people. This is we're doing this tonight. So you as Xbox fans play on consoles, you're not as bad looking as they perceive you to be, right? Watch this. According to Newzoo, the most popular games on PC right now are League of Legends. We don't even need to know how old that game is. Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, Minecraft, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, GTA 5, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, it gets good. Overwatch, free to play. Apex Legends, free to play. PUBG, free to play.
Mm-hmm.
The most popular games on Steam: Go, Dota 2, PUBG, Fall Guys, Grand Theft Auto 5. That's it. Does that sound impressive to you? Doesn't
There's
to
only
me.
one game of those
You're
is
not
actual
even
paid
playing.
game.
I play in this generation alone games that are great, such as Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
Dirt 5.
Dirt 5, The
120
Falconeer,
frames.
Hitman 3. See, this is the language. This is why I had Sick on here tonight. And I ain't even got to say Sick gave it justice, because he is justice. He's a true Xbox general. And that's my embodiment of this direct gaming. To have people like him speaks this language. Overwatch is free to play on PC. If it's not, it's a damn shame. If it's not,
It is.
but it is. it better be. Watch this. So top games by current count play. Now they like this. Don't they always like to knock us? How many people are playing a game?
Mm-hmm.
But I just said that Forza Horizon 4 has 24 million players on it. I'm going to give a list of these games. You tell me if any of these numbers come close to just one of them. You can pick Forza Horizon 4, Sea of Thieves, whichever one. It doesn't matter. Just know that the number is always going to be smaller if they're a PC gamer. Just know that. Just know that. Okay? Counter-Strike, Global Offense. The peak, 876,000.
Wow.
Dota 2, 600,000. Player Pete PUBG, remember that one? 400,000. Fall Guys, 160,000. Grand Theft Auto 5, 140,000, and that's it. That's out of it just took 5 games. The rest are under. The rest are, that was 6 figures. Okay. Now you're down to 5 figure totals. Surge SDK base 2013 multiplayer. Notice what I just said. Source is SDK base 2013 multiplayer. 2013. We're in 2021.
That just means Gary's mod then. Yeah.
There you go. 90,000. Football Manager 2020, 84,000.
That's popular in Europe.
Yep. Tom Clancy's. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, 99,000. Destiny 2, 79,000. Team Fortress 2, 70,000. Rust, 62,000. Rocket League, 61,000. Warframe, 63,000. Dead by Daylight, 52,000. Ark Survival Evolved, 53,000. Minecraft Flight Simulator made that list. At peak, 60,000. Risk of Rain, 46,000. Gary's Mod, 38,000. Payday 2,
okay, so Gary's mod is separate. All right.
Yep. Mirrors Civilization 6, 36,000.
Oh, Sid Meier probably. Yeah.
Sid Meier, there you go. Uh, Terraria, 32,000. Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 15 online, 30,000. The Elder Scrolls, while everybody wanted to laugh, Elder Scrolls, right? You wanted to laugh at that, right? Well, there's 30,000 PC gamers still playing Elder Scrolls online.
What I
And then
said, that's an eternal game right there.
that right. And Factorial, 27,000. That's it. All those games, they sound appealing to you? They don't to me. Don't that list right there didn't give me no thrill to go buy a PC. It didn't. It didn't.
Those are the same games you get everywhere else.
There you go.
I don't think that there was only one of those that you could say is, well, not you could say just because it is a true exclusive to that platform you can't find anywhere else, and that was the Sid Meier's Civilization game. I don't think there's been I don't think that series has been represented on console just yet. That's very complicated. Very complicated. Forget Age of Empires. Like if you've ever played Age of Empires or Command and Conquer, that's kindergarten compared to high school or college calculus or something, because that game is complicated. So yeah, you expect that to be on PC, but everything else on that list that you just listed, they're all of them on console. Like,
now watch this.
And as a PC guy, if you're not into PC, listen, if you're into PC, you're in PC by yourself. Nobody gotta entice you to do it or whatever.
Facts.
So you're gonna be there, and you don't need to hear none of this from us.
No, I'm just reading it. I'm just reading it. But I'm glad
these fake guys though.
I'm glad Vodka said that right there. Why do people judge games by PC numbers when PC players jump to newest things too? You think?
Yeah.
You think? Let's see if that's true. Let's see if that's true. Do PC gamers jump on newer things and stick to them? By that list, they don't, but I digress. Most of these games are at least a few years old. So no, they don't. A couple are closing in on a decade. So hell no, they don't. Newzoo implies that the PC space is a bit unique in this way. With consoles tending towards quicker game turnover, I feel a bit less bad for playing StarCraft or Orcs Must Die or Orcs Must Die Too lately. That's PC games. At any rate, the PC market has expected to grow at 3.5% through 2022. Back in 2019, as of May, Newzoo reporting a 4.8% boost for PC gaming. So when you think about it, PC has seen its better days 2 years ago. But
yeah, what usually happens
here's the bottom line.
At the end of the generations that happens. Yeah.
Right. But here's the bottom line. Either way, the pandemic has stimulated a larger and expected sales in PC gaming too, not just in consoles. So the bottom line is this: gaming is thriving regardless. But the main reason I read that was just to show the details. That is not PC gaming that's generating forward movement, but console gaming is doing it. The reason why is because year to year, month to month, console gaming actually shows growth while PC doesn't. That's the facts. Now it's time for Sick to release his finger off that red button. Drop that. Man.
Yeah, well, we're going to end off the show on this one because this is a bit of a nuclear bomb, I feel. So, we discussed earlier about how Microsoft doesn't release the numbers of their console sales. And they said before, and they said the honest truth that a lot of people didn't want to hear, so they didn't pay attention to it. The honest truth was because that's not the metric that matters anymore. And now that a lot of more people are starting to understand the truth of Game Pass and services like that, you start to see the truth behind that. But here's the nuclear bomb. And you already see it when you see somebody says, oh, I'll just go to PC anyway. Microsoft runs that anyway. They already win. They're everywhere. They're going to be on TV soon. They're going to be on iOS and Android. I mean, they're on Android. They're about to be on iOS. It's about to be on PC as just like you go to the web. When xCloud is on the web and you just launch, let's say it's xcloud.com. You just go there. The website, your websites are powerful now. The coding they have just in websites is so powerful now. You can go, like, for example, you use GeForce now, it'll be the same thing with xCloud. You can just use an Xbox controller or PlayStation controller, Nintendo controller, or some cheap thing you got on Amazon for $5 or whatever. Plug it up to a TV, Android box, whatever. And you can start streaming on xCloud. If you're a PC guy, you got Game Pass. EA Play came to that today, heavily rumored that Uplay Plus is next. Okay? So if you're a PC guy, Xbox still got you with Game Pass. If you're on Xbox, that's obviously redundant. Like, it's such a wrap now. People are actually entertaining the idea of Game Pass coming to the competing consoles, PlayStation and Switch. Listen, you may as well just shoot yourselves in the face if that happens. You're done already. You're going to run the other guy's platform on your thing? Then why does your platform exist at all then? Just put your software on their platform. Because you're done. And apparently they're already starting to do that and hedge their bets. Because Microsoft already won. It's already a wrap. It's Microsoft's world. You just live in it too. And you can live and make a lot of money like that, boo-boo, if you try hard. But you can either get down or you can lay down. Microsoft already won.
Well, we'll leave it at that. Sick. You already let them know where they needed to go to see you. If you feel like repeating that one more time, you can. If not,
all right then.
They shit waiting out here for you, man.
Well, first off, you can find me on Twitter and everywhere great games are played with the same name you see here. You can find me on GRG every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern and every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on 108 Dragons TV for that Dragons Den podcast with my homie 108 Dragons and PK live. And, you know, from week to week, we'll have special guests who joins in. You know, we discuss the topics with facts, knowledge, and experience. And we just love games. We talk about, you know, the industry and the ups and downs. So come check us out. Really appreciate everybody who came out. Most everybody's been here throughout this whole long stream and has stayed here, and I appreciate that. So thanks for coming out, and I'll check y'all later. Thanks for having me, Legal. Thank you so much. I appreciate this very much.
Man, it was time, brother. Like I said, I'm a fan of you, man.
Thank you. And hopefully this won't be the last time.
It had, like you say, man, like you told me, just let me know. I appreciate you, bro. Like I said, I appreciate you, man. You're strong out here. You know your stuff. You're very knowledgeable, man. You know your stuff. You speak the language, bro. And that, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. So it was, like I said, man, it was an honor to have you tonight, man. It was good. It was fun. It's good and fun, bro. Like it's like having a throne with two seats. You know what I'm saying? You sitting on the same throne as me, man. It's good. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I mean, some people don't, like I said, man, some people are either going to take it like this. Well, damn, walk away. Man, I actually learned something. Or, you know, they're going to get mad. Either way, it doesn't matter. The truth was spoken tonight. You know, if you felt like we wasn't speaking the truth, we don't have no apologies for you. It's just that's just your opinion. But it's kind of hard to prove it wrong when what we're saying is clear as day. It's clear as day. So upon that, man, I want to just say thanks to everybody that's been supporting the channel. If you like what I'm about, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, check us out. Shout out to my team, the General, Technoblast, Rogue Enigma 17, and my man Jizzle Gaming TV. This is Di-RRec Gaming. This is New Legal. Represent the Xbox community. Shouts to the Xbox chat room, man. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Shouts to all the real gamers out there. And always remember, man, keep it gaming. Chase the one up in life. And always, always, always know That Xbox rocks and it don't stop. See y'all later, people. Until next time,
Peace.
peace.